Bam, we're live. He says, JR says, I'm burnt out with the games. I really don't want to do this show today.
That is not
And I'm embarrassed that all of my predictions were so wrong. I was only 99% right. And I can't face the world because I got 1% wrong. I understand.
How crazy is that reel?
Oh my goodness, that reel is dope. Hey.
Did Jen Green do that?
Yo.
Jen McDonald.
Jen McDonald, sorry. Different Jen.
So good. So good.
I was just stuffing my face with pineapple.
Do you think when JR saw that he was like in bed and he got out of bed and started dancing around the room in his underwear? Like,
no,
he
probably got angry that someone gave him a compliment.
Yeah.
He's like, what the fuck? I can't believe you would say something nice about me.
Yeah, I was a little bit reluctant to accept the collaboration since it talked about me in the first person in the caption. I didn't feel too good about that.
Yeah, I can't believe I wasn't in it. Fuck you, Jen. Come on.
Lucky camera. Is this camera for the first programming show and to help lift Sevan's mood? Wait, what's wrong with my mood? I'm not poopy. I'm in a great mood.
Oh my God.
What?
The next comment down from that one.
Taylor's got a date, so he's loading. Oh.
Holy shit.
Ooh.
Is there any truth to that?
Trying to decrease that pH, buddy.
Ooh.
Is that really? Is that? Whatever.
What is there? Can you go to Lucky? This guy's so generous, or this gal.
His name's Justin.
Can you go to you know him?
I've just talked to him on Instagram.
Can you go to his website?
Cool.
I want to see. It is a real business, Lucky camera straps.
Oh yeah, and you don't have to just use them on your camera. Like you can beat your spouse with them. You know.
They could be part of your pineapple escapades. Do they make?
Dude, you can do anything
with
that
kind of stuff.
You can strap them on. They're cool. I mean, you're into leather.
I have so many leather straps, camera straps. Is that the dude there?
I don't know.
Is he a hipster?
He's Australian.
Oh, do they have hipsters in Australia?
I don't know. I mean, he strikes me as a cool dude.
You know who would probably be into meeting this dude is Dave. Dave loves
that's right.
Sewing and leather and shit.
Right.
He's like Dave's got like a whole 8th grade home economics club at his freaking ranch. It's crazy.
Yeah, these are cool. Do they have any of the ones that like that I used to have that let everyone know that I?
Dude, I don't know shit about cameras. Don't ask me. I have no idea.
Wait, Deluxe Pro, wrist straps, simple, custom reviews, desert tan leather, shot by size, camera,
extra small, Sevan.
Go to standard 53 heavy DSLR. Let's see that.
Is Taylor in a bomb shelter? Fuck. Sometimes.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say sometimes the comments get me going, and sometimes they put me in my feels. Be nice to me today, okay, everybody?
Why am I not? I'm in a good mood. I'm in a better mood. Okay, I am a whore. I'm in a better mood because of 50 Australian dollars. That's for sure. Can I show the new shirt that Vindicate made also? I don't know how long this shirt is going to last because of the logo. Taylor, I had one sent to you. You liked it, right?
Dude, that thing is so fucking... Dude, I grew up skateboarding. I was a huge skateboarder.
Taylor, how many T-shirts do you have? Courtesy of our counterpart on this show.
I haven't sent... Have you gotten any?
Yeah, I've got a CEO shirt and a politically homeless shirt.
Do you have any shirts, JR?
You know the answer to that question.
But that was 2 days ago.
You're getting some.
That was 2 days ago.
Actually, you know what? Two of my members that went to the games both brought me a CEO shirt because they felt so bad that I didn't have any yet. So they stopped by the booth at Gabe's and got one for me.
I could look at Sue. I don't know. You can't see Sousa, but maybe Taylor can see him in the back. Can you see him laughing?
Yeah. Wait. So why do you not think this shirt's gonna last? You think they're gonna freak out about the logo?
I don't want to say it out loud. Yeah, I don't know.
Dude, it is so cool. Fuck, that's cool. Anyways, well, at least go buy, like, if you're out there, buy the shit out of them.
Yes. Okay. This boy, we earned the right to do this show. We talked about the games, and then we predicted the workouts, and Taylor and JR watched everything they could find on Mr. Adrian Bosman, and we did all the political delicate two-stepping around who's doing the programming this year. And then the games came and we watched them all while JR juggled kids and a wife, intending to them with chicken noodle soup. And Taylor drove back and forth to mommy's house. And here we are reviewing. How many events were there? 15?
13.
13. And do we like the programming of the games? If you had to give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down, which one is it?
Double thumbs up.
Thumbs up, JR?
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. I'm looking at Taylor's outline, and like there's a point here that says we are not experts. What?
Well, I put
What?
that. JR likes that. I put that in there for JR. You know.
Oh, good.
You want to have a little.
He's feigning humility.
I'm feigning humility.
I'm feigning it too.
So that's
just a couple dudes with opinions that like to break down workouts.
Yeah.
We're not saying that our opinions are the end all be all, and that if you don't agree with us that you're wrong.
Yeah, and we just love CrossFit. We both have been doing it for a while. We both, when you like something and you become obsessed with it, you like to learn a lot about it. So that's in there just to preface. I haven't been doing it as long as Adrian, and I haven't been around the caliber of people to do it with as long as Adrian. So who the fuck am I to say? Just to preface it with that, those guys know what they're doing, and the result of the weekend and the workouts speak to that.
When did you start playing organized sports?
Me?
Yeah.
I was 3.5.
Okay. And have you ever taken a break from it?
No.
Yeah. And you're 28,
26.
26. So you have 23 years of steady training and experience. And JR, how long have you been playing organized sports? How old are you?
I'm 37. I was playing them from 3 until 22. And then I guess from like 22 to 27, 28, it was just like rec, men's league, church league, basketball type, still trying to hold on to hoop dreams, still trying to think that I could go overseas and play. And then when I kind of let that die when I found CrossFit. So I didn't really start doing that competitively until, I don't know, 30 years old. So it was a pretty big gap there.
But you've been training since you've been 3.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So some experience. Some experience, and both obsessed with CrossFit. Affiliate owner with clients from fucking weak as birds and old as dirt to dudes who are ready to fucking eat steel and go to the games. So I think it's a little insincere that you guys aren't experts, but if you guys want to go with it, fine. Hindsight is 2020. Meaning that Taylor, meaning that it's easy for us to talk shit on what's already happened.
Yeah, like it's easy for us to look back, and I guarantee you maybe they haven't done it yet, but they will be doing, a hot wash soon where they just go back and break down everything that happened in the weekend and what went wrong, what could do better. So that's all just to say it's easy for us on the outside to look in at all the mistakes and point out the mistakes. It's really fucking hard to plan for mistakes and to know what's going to happen and to react to the mistakes or to react to the bad things as they're happening. So again, that's just to say, like, I want to do as little armchair quarterbacking as possible, or at least preface all of my armchair quarterbacking with, like, I understand that, they have a hard ass fucking job, and we're just sitting here looking at everything that's happened and saying what we liked and didn't like.
Yeah. And, similarly to something I said in the last couple of weeks, maybe on the prediction show, everyone is influenced by experiences. Everyone has personal biases. Everyone simply just has things that they like. So Adrian is going to program to that. I'm going to program that way. Taylor's going to program to that way. I love odd objects and strongman training more so than just barbell, barbell, barbell. And there are going to be people that just love traditional classic barbell workouts like Taylor does. So that doesn't mean that either one of us are right or wrong. It just means that's what we like. And you can still have good programming and not be centric to one thing or the other. That's important to state before.
There's programming that centers around kettlebells that's good.
Sure.
Acts of God, uncontrollable things that were out of control of the organizers need to at least be taken into consideration and recognized. In this particular circumstance, it was the weather. Didn't change any of the workouts, but changed the order.
No, it changed. They took the seated legless out.
Right.
It also changed the order too.
Mhm.
So those athletes were supposed to do the shuttle to overhead workout after the bike and before the 2 gymnastics workouts, but they ended up doing them the next day. So it did change the way that those workouts felt before and after.
Okay, so when we get to that, what workout number is that?
That was
11?
2 and 3.
Oh,
You're talking about the legless workout or the workout?
yeah, the legless.
That was
Okay.
event 11.
That was
Okay.
11, yeah.
And
And the
that
other one
is
was 2A, 2B.
that is one we have not talked about. And when we get there, I think we should fucking really dig in. I'd like to hear
Mhm.
what they should have done, what they could have done, what they did do, how did it affect how people finished, time domains affected, did they not, did they make up for it elsewhere? I think that was a pretty big change from the rudimentary basic layman perspective that I have. They really altered that workout and they didn't replace it with the similar stimulus. So
yeah, we will for sure talk about it when we get there.
okay. And finally, I think JR hit this pretty well. Programming and our biases. He talked about basically your guys' particular biases. Do we want to talk about some of the things we've heard in terms of athletes? I've heard a couple things about athletes and can you guys all go to a bathroom break where do we talk about this in private chat? Where do we decide whether we talk about these two next items? We should have had a call. We should do a show before the show that no one can hear.
Well, I'll break the ice gently. I think
Okay.
we've heard from people that Tudor was having some issues at the games and that allegedly
Hey, someone reported to us in the comments. I just saw Tudor Magda explode on James Townsend, and I read it. I read it on the show.
yeah.
And and we never got clarification of what that meant.
Well, yeah, and I heard from several athletes at the games that they had it out several times, according to some after every workout, and that apparently he's moving on and that he's going to Naples to train with Matt Torres or under Matt Torres in the Brute Camp.
Which is where he came from originally.
And I think he didn't want to move there because he did not want to leave his family. And so it's that's interesting. I mean, it just kind of shocked me. I don't know. I've never gotten into a fight with my coach, so I don't. I've never gotten into a fight with my CrossFit coach. I'd gotten into fights with baseball coach. I played baseball most of my life. I played baseball for like 17 years, or until I was 17. And I got kicked out of the dugout several times, but it was usually because of me. So I'm not saying it's Tudor's fault.
You were like going through cocaine withdrawals or something.
I was talking shit to my own teammates, and the coach was like, "Get the fuck out of the dugout." So I it's who knows. That's
and this other one, I've been hearing for months.
Yeah, and this is conjecture on my part, but really just seeing some of the Instagram posts of Haley and Mal spending a lot of time together. She spent her post games, cool down or breakdown or whatever with the HWPO crew. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's where Haley goes. I think, to her biggest issue is strength. Matt would be a great coach to her, but I'm not saying Rich wouldn't be or isn't. It's interesting. I just wonder if maybe she doesn't listen to Rich, or you just have no idea. But I wouldn't be surprised if soon here we see an announcement from her about her switching camps.
I heard a couple months ago that there were some grumblings. I didn't hear anything about HWPO, and then a couple days ago I heard she's out, that she is going up there, which is, I mean, she's obviously very close to Tasia also. I have not asked, I have not talked to James Townsend about the first thing we talked about, and I have not talked to Rich or Haley about the other one.
Yeah, we haven't talked to anybody. And again, I'm not talking shit about any of this. I'm just reporting it. I also think,
but I can't wait to talk some shit about it.
It would be interesting to see where Haley goes, though. Does she go to Vermont and move in with Mal or live with Mal? To me, that seems like, fuck, they would just be throwing haymakers every day. And is that productive for them? Would Matt be able to keep that from happening? The one thing I feel like I can intuit from Matt's coaching style is if he sees something he doesn't like, he's going to fucking say it. And if you don't listen to him, you're not going to be his athlete. And I think that's exactly what Haley needs in a coach. I just wonder if it's the best environment for her and Mal to be beating the fuck out of each other every day, or if maybe she moves to one of the other HWPO athletes and trains maybe with Jason Hopper.
David Morton, Haley did buy a house in Cookeville. Yeah, she did say she owned the house she was in. It doesn't sound like she'd have any problem renting it. But also there's the Tasia factor, right? I don't know Tasia. I would really love to get her on the show. But
Wow. Tahiza or Tasia?
Tahiza. I don't think Tasia's leaving. I mean, what do I know? But I don't think she's leaving the Mayhem Empire.
No idea.
So
the rest is pure speculation.
There was something else I heard. Maybe it'll pop in my head.
About an athlete and a camp?
God, it was good.
About was it about Justin Kotler talking about Carrie Pierce going team next year?
No, did you hear that again?
Yeah, she's thinking about it.
That guy I had on this morning's an Underdogs athletics athlete.
Casey.
Casey Acree, 2 times CrossFit Games champion.
He's a coach for them too, I believe.
Yeah, totally. I didn't do that. Some people think Haley Adams to Harry Pally. Some people think I did that show to promote Adaptive. I did not do that show to promote Adaptive.
Like, did it because that guy's a savage.
Yeah, I just fucking saw that guy and I fucking liked that guy, and I have a thing for one-armed people. No, but when I was interviewing him today, I was like, holy shit, you're the third one-armed guy I've had on the show. I had Bethany Hamilton, or one-armed person, and then I had Logan Aldridge. And then I had that dude. Maybe I should do that every month, have a one-arm dude, call it the one-arm hour.
And this is the other thing I would throw out there.
No.
Sorry. I have one thought in my head and I want to get it out.
I just hated that it can't just be just that I wanted to have that guy on. I'm not, I could have had Justin Medeiros on. I chose Casey Acree because I wanted him.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
That's one of my favorite parts about doing the show with you is, at least with me and JR, like the reason you asked for us to come back is because you kind of like us and we have fun together.
I'd like to have this person on just because they're newbie and queen.
Oh, she's all over the comments. But how many of these training camps?
That's like a rap lyric from the 80s. Like there was like the newbie and queens. Okay, sorry, go ahead. What?
How many of these? Well, I'm just curious to how many of these coaches put out
feelers.
No, not feelers.
Come to me.
I'm trying to throw a softball down the middle for JR, but how many of these coaches can analyze what we're going to see in a year or in a season of programming as well as he can?
I don't.
He's going to say he doesn't coach individuals.
I don't think that doing research or being diligent and paying attention is very hard.
No, it's not very hard, but no one does it.
I don't know that anyone wants to take the time to do it. It's
exactly.
It's boring. It's not. But for me at least, that was preparation. That was research. That was trying to see if there was anything out there that maybe would speak to biases and experience that Adrian has had since he started in CrossFit, and how he may use those things like Dave did with his military background to test fitness. So I think people that aren't doing that already probably missing out on a lot. I know Ben Bergeron there for a while was notorious, and Sevan can speak to this, about he and maybe it was Harry back then having this, and I do nothing like this. I mean, I like use a notebook, but having almost like a movement predictor based on movement patterns that were seen in the previous 3 years, and how they would use that to anticipate what might be coming, because
In the open, yeah.
because it was programmed by the same person for 15 years and not by a council, and not by like, okay, on the odd years, this group of people are going to do the programming, and then on the even years, this group of people are going to do the programming. It's all
but
based on one person. So
that's a little different. I am sitting on an exercise ball, Richard. The chair I have in here, the varnish sticks to my shorts. So when I stand up, it pulls my shorts off.
He sweats at the anus.
None
What
of
do you mean
those-
it's not hard? What do you mean it's not hard?
Well, he thinks it's not hard, and I'm going to agree that it's not a physically demanding thing to read.com and to do research, but it takes passion, and it takes you have to want to do the work, and it also takes intelligence to see trends, to see things that are repeated. You have to remember, you have to be looking for it.
yeah,
And-
that does. Yeah, that does. I mean, it does take
Dude,
a
we're
level.
surrounded by fucking idiots, dude.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and also Ben and them didn't do what you did. They're like, there might be box jumps, rowing, deadlifts, handstand push-ups, thrusters, chest to bar, and double unders in the open. You didn't do that. You called like 8 for 8 shots, which is crazy and cool. And so basically what I'm saying is, Haley, you should move to Greenville and train with Jason under JR, or at least at his gym.
Oh, Haley?
Yeah. If she's thinking about switching, Jason's HWPO, go down there and work out with somebody who can point you in the right direction.
Careful, Sevan. You might want these guys again. Tell them they're no, what? Who? No, not these guys. Fucking knucklehead Magnus. I'm telling you that it's the thing is I think with Jay, I don't know if I agree with Taylor that it's not hard, but that being said, I'm saying the exact opposite. That JR and Taylor aren't idiots, that people are fucking idiots. Let me give you a perfect example. The CDC website said that the people dying from COVID, 94% of them that had 4 or more comorbidities, and 6% of them there was no data on. That means that whatever's killing them doesn't kill someone like me. And yet, half the world's population took an injection and is now sick from it. That's what I'm saying. So JR went and listened to 10 podcasts with Adrian on them, went and looked at all the fucking workouts that were on .com, and then used that giant fucking brain of his with 34 years of athletic experience and said, okay, this is what I think they're going to be. I'm not saying they're idiots. What the fuck's wrong with you? Trying to pick a fight with me and JR? Taylor, did you guys think for a second I was calling you guys idiots?
No. You remember when that guy in the comments told JR there was somebody looking through his window? That was funny.
Mike the Sauce. You're now Mike the Sauce. You're not just Mike Sauce. Mike the Sauce. That means you're on the sauce. Haley needs HWPO and vice versa. HWO will podium 1 and 2 something mayhem. Couldn't. Hey, dude, there's mayhem is there's no amount of shit talking you could do that would even put a dent into mayhem.
Yeah, they're pretty successful.
Well, that's what I like.
And rightfully so. And
That's
rightfully
why
so. That's rightfully
I think
so.
we should put all that we're saying under the umbrella of reckless speculation, because you guys might, but I don't even know what the day-to-day training is like for Haley and Mayhem. Does she write her own workouts? Does Tasia? Does Rich? Do they tell her to do something and she says, "No, I'd rather do this"? Do they give any input? Do they give her all input? Does she train with anyone? Does she train alone primarily? Does she go and train with other people from time to time? I think she doesn't really advertise a lot of that stuff. And what you see on YouTube videos isn't necessarily the day-to-day. Just because it's a day in the life doesn't mean it's every day in the life.
I hate those.
I think it's really important to be cautious when speculating recklessly and let something like that come out from her.
I hate the day in the life.
I think
videos.
Haley just needs to do some ayahuasca.
Oh wow, dude! I have a friend who paid to do like you can go places and do like a fucking facilitated trip. Anyways, never mind.
I'm just
All right.
joking. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Well, you can do it. You can pay someone, Haley, and do it in like a safe environment and have maybe a spiritual experience. So,
You'll never be the same.
which might not be a bad thing.
That's true. You get strong as shit. You put 50 pounds on your back squat, but you also start wearing tie-dye. New equipment, Rogue jerry cans, the alpaca sled, the tall parallel bars.
The ones they traversed. Yep.
The jerry block.
Jerk blocks.
The jerk block.
The rope
Sorry,
jerk
can't
blocks.
read it. You spelt it right. It's fine. Wall facing handstand push-up block. By the way, I apologize. Someone in the comments said that people were bouncing their head off of that, and we said no, it was impossible. But I went back and watched. There were some people who looked like they were bouncing their head.
No, they
off.
were tapping their head. You couldn't
Okay,
bounce. It was
okay,
because they
okay.
had to cut it at an angle to where you
Okay.
couldn't.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry. Maybe you're
Okay,
right. Maybe
okay,
I'm wrong.
okay, okay. And JR's got your back too. He's like, no, shut up, Armenian dude. Just fucking read from the paper.
I didn't see any athletes making contact with the block, but the way
Definitely. You didn't see any athletes making. I definitely saw athletes making contact with the block.
I did see that area that was shaved out of the front of it to give their forehead room to go down. But I think a lot of people were almost looking out in front of them. So I think it would be hard for them to hit at all because they were so arched.
Mhm.
I wish I could remember who. I saw a dude bouncing a girl bouncing her head off the block. Hey, and you know what? I don't think that should be illegal either. It shouldn't be like some subjective shit.
Regulation. They're
Okay.
calling our reckless speculation regulation.
That's true. 200 to 350 pound sandbag, and an indoor pool. Those were all of the new.
New pieces of equipment, new quote unquote elements. It's hard to call the sandbag new, but it's so heavy that I feel like you have to call it new. JR,
I think that's fair.
it's tough.
Yeah, we've seen D-ball to shoulder several
Mhm.
times, but at a CrossFit Games workout,
Yeah.
I can't think of a sandbag to shoulder variation used.
We've seen indoor pool before too, just not.
No, you've
No,
seen an
that was the
outdoor
outdoor
pool
pool.
twice.
Oh. Fair. Okay. We saw an indoor pool that was outside.
You saw an outdoor pool.
New movements at the games. I swear we're gonna get to the workouts, people. I swear. New movements at the games. L sit to handstand.
Or the low start is what they called it in the comment or in the write up. But basically, you started in a tuck or an L, and then you pressed a handstand.
Handstand pirouette.
Yep.
Which I was surprised was actually a 360. When JR talked about it on the show, JR Nostradamus. What's his name? Does he have a name? JR Nostradamus. It's Rostradamus? Jostradamus? Do we have a nickname where we can mix JR with Nostradamus?
Someone in the comments will come up with something cool.
Okay, thank you. When he would talk to us about it, I pictured a 180, like them facing the crowd, spin around to a 180 and then walk away. But they did a 360, and man, who were the first two girls to do it? It was Mal and Danielle Brandon, and it looked good.
Yeah, that was cool. It was cooler than I thought it was going to be.
Me too. And I think one of them did it clockwise, and the other one did it counterclockwise. It was really cool. Single unders, crossover double under, which isn't really.
It's a new movement to the games.
Doing two crossovers in a row under one jump, which I originally thought it was. It's a single under and a crossover underneath one jump.
Well, I think they counted any of that, but the way the crossover double is supposed to happen is cross, uncross in one jump. Cross, uncross in one jump. So a lot of people are doing single cross. I don't even like single cross.
Oh, shit.
But it was supposed to be cross, uncross, or uncross, cross. Like it doesn't, yeah. So cross, and then uncross first, cross, uncross, So he's doing it in the opposite direction. You can cross first, uncross second, or you can uncross first, cross second.
Okay. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Matt Mursky did it correctly in 2008 in the fantastic movie called Every Second Counts.
Yeah, that is a sick movie. Classic.
Hey, do you know if CrossFit bumped that up to like the top of its YouTube the week before the games? Because I went to the CrossFit Games on YouTube, and Every Second Counts.
It's funny you should
like
say
free
that
with
because
ads was right there at the
it's funny you
top.
should say that because I own that movie.
Did you
Oh, you-
notice that?
I own that movie. Yeah. I don't just own, I own, like, that movie is, the ownership of that movie is myself, Carrie Peterson, Dave Castro, and the Glassmans. And it was separate from CrossFit Inc. And so when CrossFit put that on YouTube, they gave it to Gravitas. I immediately sent a note to the lawyer and to Gravitas saying, yo, what the fuck are you guys doing? I was nicer than that. I'm friends with both of them. They said, don't worry. It's making money on YouTube and we'll get it to you. I said, all right, fine. And not a lot of money, like $8 probably.
But they'll get it to you, like you'll get me T-shirts, get it to you, or they'll actually get it to you.
That is a great question to be determined. TBD. But basically, you used to have to buy it on iTunes, and then they put it on, and then they moved it over to, and once again,
Really?
just shows complete fucking lack of integrity. Like, for the people who work at CrossFit Inc., I'm assuming whoever the fuck's working on the media team, it's probably that person who fucked their way to a leadership position there, who made that call.
I'm pretty sure when I started CrossFit, I pirated that shit.
Yeah, that's fine. You deserve it. Pirate away. No alternating, non-alternating single leg squats, non-alternating pistols. That's the first time we've seen that?
Yep.
Wow. Never before, they'd never even just had a choice. Hey, you can do.
It's always been alternating.
Okay.
It's always been alternating, and yeah, I mean, as far as balance goes, there's your balance right there with the 10 general physical skills.
Yep. Big time. And a lot of the handstand walking, as well.
P-bar traverse, bar dips. God, I can't believe that's the first time I've seen bar dips.
Yep. Crazy. I don't. Have there been ring dips at the games either, or just in regionals?
Ring dips, yeah. Well, the year they did Elizabeth.
Oh, that's right. Fuck yeah, that was a long time ago.
Pig jump over.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm. Yeah,
You could think of it like as a box jump over, no touch, like a box.
That's what it
clear.
was.
You have to clear
But
it in the air.
They've
Yeah.
done no touch box jump overs at the games, I believe, just not over a pig.
I was also wondering why they didn't flip the pig over the other way, like longer, like how it's wider than it is tall. If they flipped it over to the taller side, it probably would have been like 24 inches versus 18 or 20.
No idea.
Hey, how do those stand if you put them like this?
They don't.
Yeah,
They
I don't think
No,
They don't?
It's like trying to stand like a pen on its head. Like it's just not going to find the balance point easily.
11 and 12 wall ball shots. I was really surprised at how much that changed the game.
Yeah, accuracy.
And so what's normal? 9 and 10 at a box?
Yeah, 10 for men.
This year
Nice.
quarterfinals they did 10 feet for both,
Yeah, for women as well.
and a lot of semifinals followed suit and did that also.
Strict. I want. How much
Strict-
pineapple are you eating? How much
Strict
pineapple are you
pegging.
eating?
I'm
Show me
eating 30% off at Lidl. This whole with like some circle pineapples, the ones you put on burgers.
You know that
Oh.
tastes a little funny if it's 30%.
No, dude, it
off.
tastes fucking amazing. When they
It's-
put them out there, they're not even right, bro. Once they're fucking ready to discount,
It's got a little bit of that tart,
No.
carbonated flavor. You're like, is this going bad?
The fermentation has already
Yeah.
started to set in.
stop that. Look,
Best tasting cum in the biz. Strict pegboard. I'm glad to see that. That made me happy. Kettlebell clean and jerk. Wow, first time.
yeah,
Max sandbag to shoulder.
First time.
correct.
With you had to like show control.
Yeah, that was cool. The handoff was fucking.
Yeah, kind of a hand release standard, something that I think would be good with even lighter sandbag.
And is
and
that
shoulder for rep.
is that a strongman standard? Typically,
I don't know. I don't know if they ever do that for load or if they do it like over a yoke or to a pedestal. If you
think
ever
they
see
usually
it to
do over the
shoulder very
yoke.
often. I'm not sure.
Unbroken designation.
Yeah.
Oh,
So if you mess up, you start over. Like unbroken.
that's never been
this
at the
many
games
unbroken
either.
double unders.
No.
They started implementing that with handstand walks, like
Yeah,
where
I have.
where they weren't going to give you that 5 foot at a time,
but this
Like,
is so
and-
different.
and now you just if you can't do 25 feet unbroken, you don't get credit for it, which I think is awesome at this point for competitive athletes. If you're trying to rely on just falling forward for 5 feet at a time, it shouldn't be counted as handstand walking. But
Yeah.
doing it for things like pistols on one leg,
Yeah,
jump rope at one time, it really, really puts a premium on accuracy for sure.
Yeah.
And it feels more like a gymnastics, like that's a gymnastics component. I mean, I feel like I'm at a gymnastics competition. Like, hey, you better not mess up.
Sure.
You're going to lose points, and it's really going to hurt you.
Kind of, but there's nothing subjective about it, which is what we need. Yeah, there can't be this, subjective. I didn't like that
Right.
in gymnastics. They weren't unbroken and they did. But yeah, you can't
there was
mess up.
There was a comment here. I wanted to slap this guy around a bit. Where is he? Seth Duvall. Hey, buddy, Seth, we got this. I'm be like throwing in. We got this. Row with time cap. You pipe down. And row pace designation.
Is that the guy from the Mayhem team? Is that the same Seth?
No.
Oh.
Oh, I don't know. That's Stovall.
Oh, okay. Wow,
But
close.
I'm just busting on him because he nailed it. It's called a backhanded compliment. That's a lot of new shit.
So much new stuff. I mean, how many is that? Go back and count. 1, 2, 3, 4.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 new movements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 pieces of new equipment. And 2 athletes that are switching camps. It's like a Christmas song. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah, and I don't want to probably go into too much detail right here,
No,
but
neither do I.
the broadcast notes are basically this. It's the same shit every year. We got problem with watching it, like between the scoring and the shots that are used and who's being followed. I will say this. I don't understand how anyone could hate on the commentary. I just really, I thought Sean and Chase fucking killed it. I enjoyed listening to them. I took a shitload of notes when I listened to them. I got information. Things were put in context. People in the comments are just assholes to him. I'd love to
Chase. Dude, Chase crushes it.
To both of them, and it's just stupid. It's like, hey, I think the vast majority of people love it. It
was good.
But it is a little bit disrespectful to it puts Chase and Sean in a weird spot, and it is a little disrespectful to all the people who put on the event when it's not covered
well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wide shots, please. If you're
yes,
please. We just need wide fucking shots just to see the whole race. We can't zoom.
It's not
in
a
on
sport without the wide shots.
Exactly. It's not a sport without the wide shots. And the other thing I would say is,
and then show us the close-ups in the instant replay. We'll go back and look at those.
And then maybe on-screen graphics. I don't know if that's how much of a budget issue that is, but you could just have a little icon dashed off an athlete's head as they're running first place, or just 1, 2, 3. And that just makes it so easy to follow for people who have no idea what's going on, and a lot more pleasant to watch for people that do. I don't have to work hard to watch now. I can sit back. I can relax. I'm like, all right, sitting on my couch eating some fucking Cheetos, and Haley's in first. I don't have to question that.
Eat Cheetos. That's disgusting. Spiegel Snatch reporting for duty. Thank you. We'll let you know. Probably something after the show. Probably. Spiegel is super hot. My spidey sense tells me that her shit. Jesus criminy. My God. Please. Please. My mom might be watching you, jackass.
You made JR laugh.
You jackass. I just thought JR was looking at his notes and didn't even see
No,
it.
he's trying not to laugh.
Oh my God. I gotta read the whole thing before I click on them. It's not cool.
Holy shit.
I thought I was gonna be a compliment. I thought I'm trying to like let people know like I don't hate the girl, and then that happens.
For me, when I try not to laugh, I laugh for way longer. So I just let it out.
It's all that pineapple you've been eating. Tainted pineapple. Event number 1, bike to work. Super duper excited about this workout, and I'm gonna tell you, I love it how we just came into the weekend just with a colossal shit show.
Yeah.
I feel like it invigorated, even if it was unintentional shit show. I feel like it invigorated all the commentary, the people. I think it was cool, and then it was onward and upward from there. I think in every respect.
Yeah, the only negative about that event is the athlete's mistake. And ultimately, they put it on the athlete to count your 5 laps. So for the people that fucked it up, they just fucked it up. If anything, I thought that maybe they're a little too nice and probably should have given them a 0 for the workout. Not a DNF to where they can't continue competition, but I don't think if you don't finish the workout to that capacity, you might have earned 0 points, in my opinion.
Jeez. Yeah, that's a little harsh. I wouldn't do that, but that's okay.
Harsh, yes, but
You're talking about the people that have shown
Does it-
the most capacity over what 7/8 of the workout to give them a 0.
And then to show the lack of mental capacity to miss a lap. I mean, I don't know, but golly, I know they're not trying to test intelligence, but fucking 0.
here's the thing. I'm glad they let Lazar and Sungyoung Choi and
She did an extra.
Yeah, same thing though. Well,
No, not
maybe.
Spencer.
And Spencer continue. But by letting them continue, there's that component to, let's say we found out Fraser was on roids. Well, it didn't matter. He won by so much, like who cares? Like he could have won without him too. It's like that same way that they let those guys go. Well, he showed capacity 3 times everyone else. Roids only give you 0.4% improvement. He still gets to the wins. You know what I mean? Like Ricky didn't even win the year he dabbled. No, you don't see the comparison I'm drawing there?
I see it, but it's a weird metaphor.
Simile.
Sorry. You said like an ass, you're right.
The workout was 75 toes to bar, 5 mile bike ride, 75 chest to bar, 5 mile bike ride. Did you guys like that? And then it was on a very terrain, very ups and downs, with 10-speed bikes. Was there any part of that programming that you didn't like? Did it need more toes to bar, more chest to bar? Did they need it to be reversed?
No, I thought the way the workout played out, that the gymnastics actually mattered. It was a lot of reps in one chunk for sure. And I think, at the end of the weekend or at the end of going over the events, we'll look back and it'll seem like the monostructural didn't get that much of a hit across the weekend, but then you have to take into context the volume at which it's placed in each event. The 10 miles of biking is a lot of volume. And every time we see the gymnastics, for the most part, we'll see high volume. I loved it. I thought that was a great event.
Yeah, so I think like at first glance, I'm kind of doing the math in my head and thinking, okay, well, they're going to be on the bike 12 to 15 minutes twice, and they're going to be on the gymnastics, I don't know,
8
like
minutes.
3 to 4 minutes each. So like
Yeah.
close to 8. Like this seems a little bit skewed toward the bike, but it was interesting that you saw some people really make a move on the bike and take advantage of it. And then you saw other people really make a move and take advantage on the gymnastics, especially the chest to bar, is when it really seemed like it started taking shape. Grip fatigue started to set in after that first 5 miles, after the 75 toes to bar, which would love to know.
Why do you say that? Do you think that, or do you know that? Why do you think that?
Yeah, because these are the best athletes in the world, and to think that all of them, if they wanted to, couldn't do 3 sets of 25 chest to bar is crazy. But the fact that they came back in from that bike and weren't able to do that, a lot of them really got slowed down by that. That's not heart rate. That's localized muscle fatigue, gripping the handles for 12 to 15 minutes straight.
Yeah, riding that bike, pumping the brakes, squeezing with your forearms. And that's the other thing about people who don't know how to ride a bike or aren't that good at riding a bike. You're dumping all that fucking tension into the handlebars.
Yeah, what I thought was cool too,
poor
I mean,
Keelan Henry looked like he had never been on a bike.
Yeah. Or people that just are, fuck, they're holding on for dear life.
And something that's really cool too about how that workout started. Think about if you started it with the bike instead. So you go bike toes to bar, bike chest to bar, how much different the athletes attack it. Now, putting the gymnastic first puts a premium on position. So if you were willing to be aggressive on the gymnastics, you got a better position and there wasn't a bottleneck when you left to get on the trail for the first time.
Yeah.
Right.
But what is also really cool and really consistent with something that Boz has mentioned is that he really, really likes the idea of not letting people have the choice of whether or not they want to pace something.
Yeah.
Right.
And
You
I
saw
love
that
that.
on the last chance qualifier workout with the 2K row into the handstand walk. You had to push the pace on your 2K row or you lose. You have to have time to handstand walk or you lose. We saw that on the last workout of the games. No, I know that all of you are just going to look at each other and be like, okay, everyone cool, the 145 pace. All right, cool. See you at the bar muscle ups. Best man win. But no, he's like, no, you have to row hard because I'm telling you have to row hard. So putting the toes to bar there is just a way of telling people, if you baby this, you're not going to finish well. You have to be willing to take a risk and get these done fast to have a good position on the rest of the workout. And I just think that's a calling card. Like that's something we can look to in the future as that's a Boz workout right there. You know why? Because there is no pace from the beginning. He didn't give you the option of pacing it.
Same thing with shuttle to overhead. I love that. There's too much trying to fucking game it, and he eliminates that, which is great. I mean, it's awesome.
Which is interesting too, because during the semifinals, we did talk about athletes. The transitions are almost like as people come off of, let's say, doing bar muscle ups, they go straight into their burpees now. Just because it's a transition, you don't let these newer athletes, these faster athletes, don't let the transition points dictate when they're going to rest. They might think it's better to rest after 10 bar muscle ups and 10 burpees and then rest before they do their next 10 burpees, as opposed to just using the transition. And he's forcing that too. Don't rest. Push, push, push. Yep. So maybe it's a theme where the whole he recognizes the caliber of the athletes. They're ready to be pushed like that.
Yep.
If before we move on to workout number 2, what would you tell if you are going to go back now to the lab? Would you implement some sort of counting?
Yeah, I thought of this. You could have speedos or tachometers on the bike. And they make little devices that you can set right on the handlebar that just.
Oh, what if the games didn't do it? Well, like if you have an athlete, would you make him put on a Garmin and be like, okay, wait till that thing 5 miles? Or would you be like, hey, every time you cross this point, say out loud 1, say it out loud. 2.
It could be something as simple as you have a piece of tape on the handlebars and you just peel it off. 5 pieces of tape on the handlebars. I think someone mentioned tape on the fingers.
What if you forget to pull that off?
Yeah, see, I fucking 5 wristbands. I wouldn't have an issue with it. I don't, and like what you said in the previous show, Sung Young Choi did that. If you lose count, do an extra.
Right.
But it's your job to know at that point. It's not the judge's job to know for you. It's not the judge's job to know how many reps you have left in a workout. It's nice to hear a judge count. But it's your job to know the workout inside and out, visualize the workout, see yourself doing the workout, know exactly where the reps are, and do them all. I think that's what I would encourage as a coach is as an athlete prior to every event is visualize the event and get as detailed in your visualization as possible. Smell the fucking dirt, fucking feel the rain, just every part of it, the gravel path. Just see yourself doing the workout. And when like, so for instance, in quarterfinals, like in like the muscle up GHD pistol workout, I go through the workout like 5 or 6 times in my head where I feel every rep, 3, 2, 1, go. I step forward, begin my pistols, right, left, and I'm feeling every single rep. And then when you do the workout, it's like you've done it 5 times. So that's what I would encourage as a coach.
So feel the 5 laps.
Yeah, just know the workout. Be a professional.
Thoughts on it, JR?
Oh yeah, that whole
How to
time
count better?
I was thinking about how many more people will implement strategies in training, like when there's anything monostructural, you will be told what pace to hold from now on because of workouts like that last workout, because of workouts like shuttle to overhead, where there isn't the opportunity to pace and to do what you know will give you the best score, but you have to anticipate something like this coming down the road. You have to anticipate something like shuttle to overhead, but now if you don't finish the run with 30 seconds remaining, you're DNF'd and you don't get to continue the workout, because that's the evolution of something like that. Is not, okay, you have to row and you have to be done in 320. It's you have to be done with the row in 320. And if you drop the bar on the thrusters, you're out.
Specifically, I was talking about. Go ahead, finish that. But specifically, I was talking about how to count better. How should these coaches be? Okay,
I know. Yeah, and I think Taylor pretty much hit everything with that.
Okay. Late to the show, maybe I missed it, but when will you guys discuss Taylor's SMTP and how he is secretly trying to end lives? Also, smile more, JR. JR, don't listen to them. And Sevan, did you do Taylor's burpee challenge yet? No, I won't do it until someone makes me do it with a camera.
Dude, fucking do it.
$20 buy me 3 answers. Yes. Are you secretly trying to end people's lives?
When they're 120.
Yeah.
I'm extending their lives.
Okay. Thank you, Jeremy. You're a beast.
Yes.
Number 2, skill speed medley. This was the pegboards, unbroken single unders, and then unbroken alternating pistols, and then the handstand walk course, and then they cut the herd down every time, right?
Yep. It was started with all 40 athletes, cut to 20 athletes, cut to 5 athletes.
Thoughts on this workout?
There was only one thing I would change. I would think about beginning instead of with single unders, then to double unders, then to the crossover double unders. I would think about beginning with the crossover double unders and just having 25, 25, 25. That way, when you get to the last 5, at least at that point, you know the athletes that are there can do them and can complete the test and make it look appropriate. Or unbroken single under, unbroken double under, triple under. But I think if you're going to include the crossover double under, which I like, I don't dislike it. I just think you include it from the start. So that way the things that is cutting people isn't your ability to do, single unders per se, but your ability to do the crossover dubs, which is what everyone couldn't do ultimately, or everyone but 2 people couldn't do.
JR?
I have a lot of thoughts about this one. My initial thought is almost, why put all these cool new things in one workout?
Right.
Yeah.
So for instance, you can still do the elimination style. Every round has 3 pegboards. Every round has 50 unbroken double unders. People will still mess that up. Every round has 10 pistols on each leg. And then the handstand movement is what's progressed. So on the first one, they do the obstacle. On the second one, they do pirouette into the obstacle. On the last one, they do L-sit press to handstand into the obstacle. So you get something cool and new in that workout, but you can still bring out the legless pegboard, the crossover double under, the single under if you want to. You can still bring that out down the road. It's almost like, man, we got all these new things, but we got them all in the same workout, so you almost couldn't appreciate any one of the elements.
Me personally, if I was going to do that workout over, I'd had him go 40, 20, 10, not cut to 5. And I think the crossover double unders are stupid. But if you are going to do them, I would have given the athletes a week.
Yeah, that's something too that we talked about, like
to do them.
Was there talks of single under, double under, triple under? And ultimately, if there was talks of do we do triple unders or do we do these crossovers, what was the determining factor of no, triple unders are a bad idea? Is it judging? Is it counting? Is it just that he doesn't want to do them this year and he's going to do them next year? Who knows? The other thing that I would wonder too is, was the time cap maybe just a minute too tight? Because if you give the athletes one more minute late, they all get a chance to show that they can do the press to handstand, which was like probably the one thing everyone was like, I want to see if these people can do this.
I do think if you do that, though, you just get an extra minute to see people fumble around and fuck up a crossover double under that half of them couldn't do anyways. So it's like, oh, now we got to watch them sit and fail for that much longer.
Yeah, that's a really good point too about, if you were going to have them do the crossover, is that one of those skills that in a week you could practice and get good at, like we saw people do with the L-sit press to handstand, and they just needed a week to try it and then they could all do it.
I think some people were using the wrong rope, dude.
Yeah, that too. I mean,
that was batshit crazy.
But if you watch some athletes, like I think Danielle was one of them, when she was, frustrated with her judge, she would do a single under, then try to cross in the same rep. And the judge was like, no, because it was supposed to be cross, uncross. So you had athletes where, that beaded rope makes a difference. And then you just had athletes that, I don't know.
Boz loves unknown and unknowable. We know that now.
Yeah.
He didn't release any workouts until the day of those workouts. He is like
savage.
Like that unknown and unknowable element.
I like that too.
It's something that he really digs. So he may push back and say, well, dude, if I tell you you're going to have to do crossover double unders, then it's the whole point of them being in there is now lost.
Yeah. Females should not have had an extra minute. It makes no difference whether you have a dick or a vagina if you can do crossover double unders.
Yeah. Why did they have an extra minute?
They didn't.
Oh.
They had one. They had.
He's saying Seth Duvall.
Yeah,
Seth, you fucked it up. You were being so smart, and then you fucked it up.
Well, overall, again, I have no issue.
Hey, I think the men should have had longer because it was all the girls jumping rope on the playground when I was a kid.
Yeah, I think if there's any workout to look at and say there were some question marks on that. But again, he said that Boz did say that he thought this was the workout he was going to get the most pushback on, and he didn't get much pushback. Then how's it his fault when the people around him that are there to give feedback don't give a ton of it? And maybe they, again, that's speculation as well.
Magnus, it's all that pineapple he's been eating. His semen just has gotten just so sweet that it's taking his voice up an octave.
Well, maybe I'm a
Magnus is drunk tonight for sure. Maybe you're what, a staccato?
A castrato.
A castrato.
We talked about that.
Yeah. Elizabeth Elevated, event number 3. I love this workout.
Sick.
Yeah, I love
so
this workout.
Fucking cool.
21:15.999. Squat cleans with 135.95. I loved it how they kept the weights. And parallel bar dips with the traverse. Basically, you had to break everything into 3 rounds. So you had to go 7, 7, 7, 7. Wait, did you have to traverse first? You did, right?
No.
Yes.
Okay.
Traverse 7, traverse 7, traverse 7. Same thing with 15, 5, 5, 5, and the 9s. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah. I was thinking of the man test, the old Jason Khalipa. You jump up, do 5 dips, walk forward, 5 dips, walk backward, 4, walk forward, 4, walk backward, 3, 4.
Why didn't they make him go backward?
It's fucking hard. That's why I tried the man test today. It's so fucking hard to walk backwards. I think it would have made athletes look dumb again.
JR, thoughts on this workout?
This is for sure top 3 for me. Not only because it's like a classic girl twist on that, but just because and I mean, I would love to know stuff like this. Like, did they play with, traverse, and then you can do all 21 if you want. And if you break, you have to traverse again. Or from the beginning, making you break that. All those people can do 21 unbroken bar dips. Wow. But making you traverse and break and think about, God, I got to jump up again now and traverse. It was like so genius to me to look at the workout and know that no one's talking about the 150 feet of traversing. Everyone's just talking about the 63 repetitions, when the whole workout ended up being about the traverse into the dip. It would be essentially like doing Diane, but before every round of handstand push-ups, you had to handstand walk, and you had to handstand walk to a wall and do 7, and then handstand walk to another wall and then do 7 more, and do handstand walk to another wall and do 7 more. And that's your round of 21. People don't understand how much harder that makes the movement.
Someone did something like that back in the day. Jillian.
I believe it's the parallel bar man test. I just sent you a video.
No. The Diane. Someone did Diane by was walking. This is back in 2009.
Oh, roaming Diane.
God, who was that? It was some chick named Jillian, and everyone thought she was going to win the 2009 games, but the initial run blew her up so bad, and she fucking had a meltdown there.
I just sent a video.
She was a gymnast. I
just sent a video to the group of walking backwards and what it looks like if you want to play it.
Maxim Holmgren, some money that's MX, and it's a lot of it on my 5th beer. So Sevan on point. JR is a predictor of and Taylor predictors of workouts. I am a intoxication expert.
I'm that too.
Anything you would so I don't think you were suggesting, JR, that you would necessarily change the workout, but you do like thinking about this in terms of maybe in the future rewarding athletes if they want to do this unbroken with only having to do one. No.
I was just thinking aloud of different variations that were tested. Like, was it always written this way where you had to break up each set into 3 different traverses? Or if it was like, okay, jump up, do your traverse to the end, and then do your 21 dips, which would have made it way easier for all the athletes. And I think deciding to break it all into 3 sets was brilliant. And that ended up being the separation in the workout.
Well, what do you think about a workout then where you traverse? If you can't do them all unbroken, you have to traverse back and try and continue.
I think that sounds like something Boz would do, looking at his programming for this year, almost penalizing you for not being able to go unbroken and do big sets.
Yeah. Next, Jillian Munsey finished 3rd overall in 2008 CrossFit Games. Yes, it was her. Jillian Munsey did do a Diane that's very similar to the way I don't know who said it. J.R. Taylor was talking about doing
roaming Diane.
Yeah, is that what it's called?
The handstand walk one.
Yeah.
Well, I was just saying you do Diane, but if you did it the way that they did the P-bar dips, you would do 21 deadlifts, handstand walk, 7 handstand push-ups, handstand walk, 7 handstand push-ups, handstand walk, 7 handstand push-ups. And until you describe it in that way, people underestimate how much the traverse affects the dips.
That girl Jillian Munsey, by the way, when I was filming with her, I don't know if it was her husband or her boyfriend, but whoever she was with, they broke up because he didn't like it that she was fitter than him.
Wow, really?
Yeah, that's fucking batshit crazy. I couldn't even fucking believe that.
I believe it.
I'm gonna pull up. Do you want me to show this janky? Sousa can't pull it up on the chat, but I can put my phone to the camera if you want to see this.
No, thank you.
Okay.
Susie can't pull it
up. Why can
Susie
Chase and Bill show the whole man test video and not worry about it, but we got to worry about it?
No, they're talking about YouTube, but I have a video of me doing it.
I thought you were talking about the YouTube of the man test. Can we pull that up?
Yeah, I make it look way better than those people, but all right, Sevan.
No shit. Kayla Harrison and Chris Cyborg are gonna fight. Kayla's gonna destroy her.
Dude, I wish my fucking life regret is not watching that UFC fight at your house.
Oh.
Yeah, because you're in your feelings.
There'll be others.
Well, no, we left early, but I was in my feelings. I was like, maybe I'll just go fucking eat like shit at Sevan's house and relapse.
Okay, you want to know something? So Dave called me and he goes, and Taylor wants to stay because he wants to go watch a UFC fight at your house. I'm not fucking tolerating that. We're not paying for his hotel room so he can go. I'm sending him home. God, you're an asshole.
That's
First,
not what he said.
you fired for you wouldn't let Taylor come over and watch the fight at my house. You fired my friend Brian Friend from the games last year. All I do is love you, Dave. Okay, event number 4, shuttle to overhead, 2-minute AMRAP, 400-meter shuttle, max jerks, rest 1 minute, 3-minute AMRAP, 600-meter shuttle. If you don't know this workout, fuck you. I'm not saying it again. Maybe Susan will pull it up so you can look at it. But it's basically you had to run a bunch. You had to run a bunch and then do max jerks at 300 pounds. It was for the men, 200 for the women. It was savage. And then when you ran out of time, you got to rest and then do it again. Here it is. The first run was 400 meters, then you got to rest. Then the second run was 600 meters, then you got to rest. Third run was 800 meters. And basically with whatever time you had left over, you had to do max jerks. And it was crazy. And I think we're going to talk about this tomorrow, but this one really shocked us. I think there were some people here. This one rocked some people. Like Pat Vellner. I thought he would have killed this one, and he didn't.
Yeah,
do you guys like
look
this workout?
Yeah, like when you look at this workout and you say, okay, who do you think is going to do well on it? I mean, I don't think anybody was even close on the male side picking who they thought was going to win. It was so cool to see how athletes could tolerate that form of like cardiac output going into something heavy, and how some people couldn't. Like, look at Guy's score. We all kind of agree that he is the strongest pound for pound in the sport, and just having to run right before it just completely changes the game for people.
And what a fucking shock. I mean, truly a shocker at how well Ricky did, being that overhead is his massive weakness, but because he's so fucking fit and such a good runner, he smashed it. That was awesome.
What would you say? I know this is a little unfair to ask you this because there's been 15 games. Is there anything that you would compare this to in the previous 15 games, this workout, that just jumps out at you? What tested someone's strength, max, like, pushing to, like, what would you say, 90%, 80, 90, 100% of these guys, some of these guys lifts, but after asking them to be in a foot race?
Not a foot race. The thing that pops into my head is Thick and Quick, where they did the rope climbs into the overhead squat, and they're just fatiguing the same muscle group that you use in the overhead squat. You're fatiguing the shoulders and the core on the rope climb, and you go forward and you got to do 3 heavy overhead squats. But it's such a different format. It was, though, fatigue your body and then lift a really, really heavy weight in the same workout. JR?
The 2 run clean back-to-back workouts last year were pretty similar.
Yeah.
Those guys were running hard
But
on those 200-meter runs. I think just the fact that there was built-in rest changes it so much. Like, those guys were doing rounds for time of ascending weights on the clean. So yeah, they were still running hard, but there was a little bit more pacing involved,
much more,
versus the shuttle.
I don't know if that's really Brian, but I don't remember a double Helen.
Yeah, I thought he wasn't supposed to be watching the show.
What is a double Helen? What was there really a double Helen?
It was pyramid. Yeah, pyramid double Helen into a max shoulder to overhead.
What year was that?
Oof.
2011.
God, I'm having trouble picturing that. Double Helen meaning they did
2011.
They did Helen back to back, or it was twice as
giving me the thumbs up. Let's fucking go.
Spiegel's snatch, $20. My contribution to outfitting the Sevan media team in Andrew Hiller ball crushing shorts. Thanks for the games coverage and the best analysis of the events.
It's going to take a lot more than $20 to fund 4 pairs of shorts that are that tight from Noble. Put another 0 on it. Snatch.
You know who sells those Josh Bridges shorts that?
Oh, Born Primitive.
Born Primitive. I had a pair of those. I don't know. I lost them. I've been asking my wife to find them again. By the way, in the Gaines box, they sent some Born Primitive sweats, and like I never want to take them off. They're like silk. You guys
they're joggers.
Like that?
Those are joggers, right?
I don't know. I've never owned anything like that. It's crazy.
Born Primitive.
They're like tied around the ankle.
Yes.
Yeah. Some of my members have some. They told me I need to try them.
I mean, literally, like you just start to put them on and they're on. I mean, that's how fucking slick they are.
Primitive joggers. I think I tried a pair on and they literally, like, my thighs are so fat they like stick together. It just no, not for me.
Yeah, let me see if the I might try those Traverse pants. No, they're like oh, look at those blue ones. What are those blue ones? Those maybe it's those. Is that it? The male recovery jogger? No, I don't know, but they're so fucking nice. They're
called the male rest day jogger.
They're so slippery. They're so slippery.
Slippery.
Rest day, male rest day.
Meaning, like, you don't even feel like you're wearing. They don't put any friction on you. No friction.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Athleisure.
Is that it right there? Is that the one? Wait, there's one. They have red ones.
My members told me about are these.
Can you see that guy's cock through there? Zoom in on that.
I got a born primitive athlete coming to Crucible. I need to get her to bring me some.
Why is every picture? Why does that guy's? Yeah, the Calkins in there.
Oh, dude, his dick is right there.
Yeah.
Dude, why are you staring at his helmet, bro? Can we talk about the next workout? Are you trying to figure out if he's circumcised or not?
Yes.
Holy shit.
So that was a great workout, and there'll be more of that in the games, right? We're gonna see more of that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think so. It's something we can talk about at the end, but Boz likes him some work rest. 4 workouts. 4 workouts where you could call them interval style workouts. 4 out of 13 is a lot.
That is a lot.
That should have been in the outline in the beginning, Taylor.
It should have been. Hey, I asked JR for feedback and he sent me one thing and that wasn't it.
He was like, I don't like your font.
Now he wants to make me feel like shit on the show.
Oh, nice. I like it. It's good. Tactical. Event 5, the Capitol. 20 pig flips at 510 pounds, 350 pounds. That was, and I love the fact that it started at the venue at the Alliance Energy Center. Then a 3.5 mile jog into town and an open course, cannonball run style, open fucking course. Meaning like someone could throw an egg at you or run next to you, or the public could run next to the athletes if they wanted. Then after the 3.5 mile run, a 200 meter bag carry. They call it jerry can, but it was 2 bags. And then after that, a 200 meter Husafel carry. Can you separate the emotion that you felt from this workout, watching the athletes do it, and the actual workout itself? Was it a good workout?
I can for sure separate the emotion. I think it was a great workout. I loved it.
I say that because those of you who didn't watch the event, that kind of workout kind of stole the show when Rebecca Fuselier finished last, and they basically let the crowd just fucking descend on her and come onto the course, and kind of every step she took, they moved with her up the Capitol steps. It was also pretty amazing to see the great Haley Adams get stopped and basically have to drag that bag one step at a time. That was probably very unique for her, that feeling, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
For sure.
Yep. And awesome to see that play out on live TV. That's what we want. You want to see the athletes hit a place that they don't hit on occasion. Not every event, but you definitely see it.
And then she's up there at the top of the stairs, and the finish line is like she could fucking spit and hit the finish line, and she can see the athletes from fucking 100 yards away coming so slowly and but still catching her and passing her. Yep. And there's nothing she can do because the fucking the bag she needs to pick up is 150 pounds and her grip is shot, right?
Yep.
Is that what it was? Yeah, 150. It's kind of, you could say it's year of the bag. Year of the odd object. No? Yeah.
Lots of strongmen. Lots of strongmen in this game.
And the other thing to note is, to this point,
sorry, she's been stopped before, but it was different. When you're stopped, she was stopped because of massive fatigue, not because she wasn't strong enough.
Correct.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
So to this point
which makes you even more helpless, by the way. It's like being Taylor. It's like being in a fucking fight and gassing out, but there's 2 minutes left. Okay, Taylor, go ahead. Sorry.
To this point,
no, go ahead.
Oh my fucking God. To this point in all the workouts, interestingly, and we'll be able to revisit this at the end. There have only been, in terms of the modalities, pairings of 2 at a time. So event 1, gymnastics monostructural. Event 2, weightlifting monostructural. Event 3, gymnastics, monostructural. Event 4, weightlifting, gymnastics. Event 5, weightlifting, monostructural, and so on and so forth. So just want to throw that out there before we get to the end, because there's, just throwing it out there.
And for those of you who didn't understand that, we will have complete other shows where we really dig into that, because I'm a little fucking slow around that, but I know that's crazy important. We will be digging into that in the coming weeks. Sorry, go ahead, Jer.
Yeah, and it's I mean, you can't see this workout and not think this is one of the flagship events. The Boz talks about, you build the games with flagship workouts, really like big spectacle, viewer experience, athlete experience, but wow factor, right? And you have 3 or 4 of those at the games, and then you build all the other events kind of around those. And I'd be hard pressed to think this isn't one of those flagship workouts of this year's games. This was my favorite workout of the games, but it's got a lot of burden run feels, and it reminds me a lot of that workout. And that was my favorite all-time games workout. So this workout was very similar.
I think
Teddy Williams, he's the one-man media team covering Colt Mertens. If you do not follow this guy on Instagram, you should. He got some insane video and pictures of Colt Mertens, and also a very astute point. Haley led by 99.5%. Dick Butter said that he had a spot where people were just dropping loads right in front of him. How appropriate. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, that dude is so cool too, Teddy. He sent me like videos of Jason and reels that he had made to like pass along to Jason, which was really cool of him. So he didn't.
Cool.
Holy shit. Is that real? At CrossFit, yeah, my mom goes to CrossFit Fairfax. That's Jeff Tincher's old gym, or he still owns it, but he's out of CrossFit Wrestling. That's crazy.
It's in DC?
No, right outside Fairfax. Was she fucking sandbagging?
Send me the video. Anything you guys want to say about this event? Did you like were there enough pig flips? Was the run too long, too short? Were any of the carries too long? Did you like this incorporation of the stairs?
No, I think it was. I think it was as about a well-programmed workout as you can get as far as effect on the athlete, stimulus. I think they felt this workout the whole rest of the weekend. I think this workout being the first one of Friday was on purpose, and they really felt it from here on.
Set the tone. Yeah, the one thing I wanted to
James Bragg in-house comp. This ain't an in-house comp. It's at the gym, but it ain't in-house. This is the real deal, dude. Get off
James,
your ass.
Yeah, James doesn't in-house comp going to be lit. Wow.
He said he can't do it. He needs to let his body rest for a couple months.
Oh wow.
James, no drug testing at this event. Get all fucking juiced up and show up.
He could have done it last year, but I would have beat his ass. I like, just kidding. James is very fit. I think the one thing I wanted to talk about quickly is the word gimmick. And there was someone in the comments talking about Rich saying some of the workouts were gimmicky, maybe in reference to speed skill medley. And I think when I think gimmick, I think the workout, its primary purpose is to attract attention or to look cool. So when I look at all the workouts this year, I don't see a single workout where the primary purpose was to look cool or to attract attention. You could look at every movement and make a case as to why that tested the athletes in a certain way and why it was important for it to be included in the test that crowned the fittest on earth. So going forward,
Crossover was stupid.
I know you feel that way, but the athletes need to be able to adapt to things like that. It's a fucking movement a third grader can do. And if it's a gimmick, why can't the fittest people on earth do it?
It is a movement a third grader can do. What are you going to say?
And gosh, they should be tested on things they've never seen or tried or done before. And I loved it. I just thought that maybe doing it earlier so that we could see the athletes who are good at it shine. But anyway.
Event number 6, up and over. 3 rounds for time, 12 muscle ups, 25 jump overs, 30 GHD sit-ups. 3 rounds. Okay. I was having trouble remembering this. So this was the one where they had to do the 12 muscle ups, and then they had to do 25 jump overs. The first time it was over a 50-inch, like a log that was 50 inches off the ground. Then a box that was 42 inches, and you couldn't put your hands on the box. You had to jump up there, which was crazy for Colton. And then the third round, you had to jump over a 20-inch pig, and you weren't allowed to touch that either. And and then 30 GHD sit-ups, and it was quite the race. And then at the very end, after you did those 3 rounds, you had to pick up an axle, 185 for the men, 125 for the women, put it in the front rack, put the axle in the front rack, and what was it, like go 84 feet or something?
Yeah, that sounds right.
And I think some people did
60?
that
Yeah, 84.
unbroken. But just to let you know how big that axle was, I think it was Mal O'Brien or Rebecca Fuselier, someone like you could see that their hand could not get purchase on it. And when they cleaned it, it actually came out of their hand. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, I love this workout. I do think that, to me, workouts like this seem to be more spectacular and more better to watch in the Coliseum. I like muscle ups in the Coliseum. I like jump overs in the Coliseum. When it's out on the field and you've got 40 athletes or 20 athletes doing it at one time, especially with the broadcast, it's just so hard to follow. That's my only complaint. I love the workout. Amazing.
Will Plummer, hi.
I got one thing.
You better make it.
Whoever lost to Colton Mertens in this workout needs to just quit. Needs to just quit now. Watching him do all those box jumps, it was a max effort every time. It was unbelievable. That was one of the coolest things I watched all weekend. That's it.
Will, are you sick? Because I heard it was a super spreader event. Super spreader.
My mom has a bad headache right now. I feel fine.
Will's
You
got
sound
mom-
like shit, dude. You sound
work.
like you need to eat some pineapple.
I know. I just needed to clear my throat.
Okay, bye. Thank you. Well said. Well said. Colton those jumps were pretty
How
gnarly.
tall is he?
What
So
place
he's
did he
like
take?
50 He's 51 inches or 52 inches.
That's how tall he is? He's 52 inches. No,
Oh, no. He's 5'3".
52 inches is 5'4".
No.
he's 64 inches.
63
60 inches is 5 foot.
Yeah, 63
64,
inches.
sorry.
64. Wow. So he's doing a foot, like he's standing at that box and it's literally at his fucking collarbone. That's impressive.
Did anyone finish after him?
I'm sure he's great at muscle ups. I'm sure there are a couple guys,
If you finished after Will Plummer says that if you finished after Colton Mertens, you should quit. You should retire. Go into school teaching. Will Brandstetter, people wouldn't be saying the crossovers are stupid if the athletes in the final round were able to do them.
Exactly.
It was a test of practicing skills.
And the other thing is this.
I don't know if that's true.
It was. If they would have started with crossover doubles and you had Fikowski and Horvath in the final event able to showcase all of that, it would have been fucking so cool. And the other thing about it is this. We see workouts every single day where you're testing cardiovascular endurance, strength, stamina, endurance, yada, yada, yada. The games rarely gets to the point where they're testing coordination or things like balance or things like accuracy to the degree that they were tested this year. But what is defined in fitness by CrossFit is your capacity across all 10 general physical skills where one's not detracting from another. The
juggling 5 balls is pretty fucking cool. And shooting 3-pointers is fucking dope when people do shoot 6 3-pointers in a row without missing. And those, just because it's cool and if they could all do it doesn't mean it's appropriate for the games. And I think crossover jumping rope has that sort of specialty component in there.
Yeah, there's a really interesting discussion trying to make the distinction between if something is a skill, but is it testing fitness? And if you go there, then do we have to define fitness by CrossFit methodology's terms? And if we define it by CrossFit's terms, do we have to use world-class fitness in 100 words? And it just kind of keeps going in that way, right?
Well, I think if we're going to...
You can't just stop something and say, well, single unders aren't fitness, they're just a skill. Okay, well, how do you define fitness? Because we're playing their sport and they're saying it's fitness.
Yeah, and the other thing is this. It's the CrossFit Games, so we're using the CrossFit methodology, and we're using the CrossFit definition of fitness, and it's the first methodology to ever objectively define fitness. And it uses the 10 general physical skills to define fitness, and coordination is one of them. So if coordination is a general physical skill, and we're using the definition CrossFit uses to define fitness, then coordination is equally as important as a human being as strength. Stamina is equally as important as endurance.
Start juggling.
I can't fucking juggle, but I can do crossover double unders.
Event number 7. But one question about that. As high as that was that the highest? JR, I'm really disappointed in you. Really disappointed in you that you've left room for me to ask a question like this. Very disappointed.
It shan't happen again, master.
Is that the highest athletes have been asked to jump in a CrossFit Games without using their hands? Is 42 inches the highest, and has it ever been done before?
Yes,
Chaos?
chaos.
Yeah.
Boom.
So what? So what?
Thanks.
In which workout?
Chaos from 2019 or 18?
18
18.
or 17.
And so
it was
40,
18.
that's tied with the highest athletes have ever been asked to jump.
Yes.
And what was the rep scheme for that? Did they have to do, how many did they have to do?
I want to say it was a weird number. It was either like 30, I think it was 35 or 25.
No, 42 inches for men, and it was higher for women in chaos.
36 for women in chaos, I believe.
Wow.
But
really?
was this not 42 or was this 40?
It was 42 this time. Or
Okay,
was,
well, that's what we're saying. It's the same
Was it
height.
40?
It's chaos.
So for women, the women, the highest wasn't this year. What was the height for the women this year?
30 inches.
So
Well,
what Brian is saying,
the website's saying 30 inches. I thought when they announced it, it was 42.36. But see, the women says 30-inch box. But I could be wrong.
Yeah, I wonder if that's a typo. I don't know that it was 30 inches.
I thought it was 36 inches.
maybe Brian will probably weigh in here.
Brian was on the field. He would know.
Oh, so it was the highest for men. It's tied with the highest for men, but that was the highest women have ever had to jump in a CrossFit Games.
Was
36
chaos.
inches.
36 inches was chaos.
Yeah, I thought they were both 42 and 36.
Yeah, so that's and that's what it was for this event. It wasn't a 30-inch box for females. It was 36 inches without a doubt. So that's a typo.
And that's what we're here for. I don't know. Are you sure?
I'm 100% sure. I watched the event.
If we
So it
could
was
go,
1 6-inch.
I was going to say, if it was a 6-inch piece Velcroed to the top of a 24-inch box, then obviously it was 30. But it looked like it was a 12-inch piece on top of a 24-inch box.
What do we know? What do we know?
it was 30.
Susan, can you go over to that event and you don't have to pull it up, but maybe just start digging around and see what you see. Send that link to Brian. He feels left out. Brian needs to be studying for his show tomorrow.
Well, let's go to the next event while Susan's pulling that up.
Here. Listen, you jackass. There. Oh, this is good. So Will Plummer thinks that Austin Spencer, Andre Houdet, Tudor Magda, Moritz Fabig, Caravas, Artur Semenov, we'll go with today's theme, Semenov, and Keelan Henry should all quit because
They're all pretty tall other than Keelan, which is surprising. You would think they would have done better, but Colton's got great capacity. Like, he can fucking hurt.
Yeah,
So,
he can hurt.
those athletes need to learn how to hurt.
Yeah, so I think to Taylor's point, you look at a workout like this, you have like the big logs and you have the things to jump over. It's a little bit too much going on to be inside. However, a workout like this, there's probably 50 or 60 feet between the GHD and the rings. And you have that many long built-in transitions. I think sometimes you get lost watching it versus like really, really tight transitions in the Coliseum. And I do think that sometimes based on the movements, that is more aesthetically appeasing inside.
Well, you could call this workout busy for the Coliseum as well. I mean, I get what you're saying, but I just feel like I go back to Amanda 45 and that being probably one of my favorite workouts of all time. Just how fucking cool it was. You had the 7 or 6 rigs with the rings.
Wait a second. We moved on.
No, I was just talking about the GHD workout. Because Taylor was talking about how he thinks a workout like that would be better suited in the Coliseum. But I was
Okay. Why is this workout up here right now?
Because we moved on. I said to move on, and then JR backtracked.
Oh, good. Can you pull this down just for a second? Sorry, Taylor. Hold on. So sorry, Taylor. I know we're running out of time.
You're
Hold on. Luis Limos, thank you. You're so fucking generous every show. Thank you. It was 30-inch, 24 box with 6-inch top. Okay. Will
Are you sure it wasn't a 30-inch box with a 6-inch top?
I just want to ask you guys one question. Should we go higher? Why didn't Boz go 44 inches? While he's fucking us the whole week with all these this crazy shit, why didn't he just go the extra, just add 2 inches, just one more, like,
I thought
bam.
that was appropriate. I thought 42 inches was appropriate for men, and 36 inches would have been appropriate for women.
I think he should have gone 43.
What the fuck does that do?
I just think he should have gone for the record. It goes with the pegboard and with the crossover and with the L sit to handstand.
But then you could argue he's just doing shit to do it. I think everything he did, again, I look back at it and I don't see a single gimmick because I don't see him doing any movement. I don't see any movement or workout or pairing of those in the event that could be said it was just for the spectacle or just to garner attention or just to look cool. They all tested something that I think is near and dear to his heart and his belief in the methodology. And that being kind of rooted in the 10 general physical skills and athletes sucking at some of those things and being world-class at others. We can't call these people the fittest on earth if you can't do a single crossover double.
That's 30 inches.
It is? Okay.
It looks like it.
Who's replacing JR
right.
and Taylor for the show when they make the CF games? John Young. John Young's like in the wings at all times. Like if fucking Taylor were to get hit by a brick, in 2 seconds we'd have John Young in there. You wouldn't even know. Or if that guy staring at him in the window behind him fucking reached in.
He closed his shades. He closed his shades earlier. I fucking laughed.
Hey, you know, I closed my
Ken,
shades.
44. This ain't the pussy games.
Okay.
We're not crowning the almost the fittest. Thank you, Ken. Yes, 44 inches. And as Heidi said, just add 2 inches. Just 2 inches. Okay, sorry. Now we're ready, Taylor. Sorry, Echo Press. Sorry. I was so proud of myself that I found something JR hadn't sleuthed. Some historical piece of workout, something or another. The Echo Press, 30 calories for the men, 25 women on the Echo Bike, 10 wall-facing handstand push-ups. I hated this event. I thought this was fucking stupid. I thought the setup was stupid. I thought those black things they had to touch to were stupid. I hated this event. It was a good time to just take a big shit and go through my DMs.
Oh my God. I like the event, and I think the only thing that I would have liked to have seen differently was a tactile feedback on the wall-facing handstand push-up. So instead of a line that they had to, from judge to judge, and where that judge is kneeling or the angle they're taking, the standard's different for everyone, where they have to cross that line. I would have preferred to have seen 15 strict wall-facing handstand push-ups just to the floor. No deficit, no block. I thought it would have looked cleaner.
Why not? Why didn't they do that? Why didn't they just have like just a couple plates there, old school style, with the sit-up pad? What the fuck is that thing called?
Ab mat.
The ab mat in between it, and you just touch your head off of it, and you're good to go.
I think they wanted a deficit. I guess my issue is just increase the reps a little bit. People still don't do wall-facing handstand push-ups that much. 15 reps would have been more than enough to challenge them. And then you eliminate that fucking weird standard. And kind of, to Sevan's point, the blocks looked kind of weird. It was an interesting visual. People who tuned in who had no idea what CrossFit is are like, what the fuck are they doing? And what is that thing? At least if it's
what is that thing? At
least if it's just to the floor, they're like, oh, they're just doing handstand push-ups. They don't know whether you're supposed to face the wall or not. But with that block, it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and this is a question for Boz. Is that wall walk up onto the block there just to fatigue the triceps a little bit more before they start the repetitions? Or is it solely for, hey, we're making sure that, because those just look like ballistic blocks, which are 9 inches tall at that on the outside. So is it just, hey, we want to make sure they're high enough off the ground to where no matter how deep they go in their repetition, they're not going to be banging their head off the floor, because we know people do that just to gain an advantage. that they don't care about CTE.
Bounce. Yeah,
They'll just
bounce.
bang their head into the pad to get a little bounce, and we
Or
don't
they-
want that.
You know what it could have been, and this might have been pretty cool, is 10 hand release wall facing handstand push-ups to the floor.
So rest your head on the floor.
Yeah, I guess not.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Oh, JR, you should have just let him roll with it for a second. Shit,
Well,
that
how
was
else-
good. We just had slipped into idiocracy. I
I mean,
really
they
like
already
that.
they do that on regular strict handstand push-ups though. So what's the difference?
Yeah, like people rest on their head and shake their arms out and then keep going.
Is that true?
People do
that?
headstands.
Yeah.
Rich Brosda.
Idiocracy is a
uh,
great movie. Have you seen it?
Oh, it scares the shit out of me. We're
Butt
living it.
fuckers. That's where we're going.
Rich Brosda, 3 beautiful daughters, wife, owns a suit, blue shirt. Your guys' coverage made the games extraordinary, and this is a great podcast every day. Thanks for all the hard work to keep it informative and entertaining. Thank you. This show's actually this one Taylor's put in a lot of, maybe JR has too, but this one I was so excited. I'm more excited to do this show right here than all the other shows we've done on the games, and I'm excited for the one with Brian's tomorrow too, because fuck, man, we watched all those events.
Maybe the coolest thing about this workout was just who could get through the 30 and watch them race on the bike. Putting the bike at the end was the best part of this workout.
I agree.
You got to see people like Tim Paulson. You got to see Jason and Will try to go head to head. Jason try to catch him down at the end. Like them seeing the athletes really put out on the bike to try to make the time cap or just get as many reps as possible was awesome.
Not only is he good looking, but he sees the positive even in dumb shit. J.R. Howell. That thing that I don't know which one of you just brought it up, but where you had to walk up on the blocks before you started, that was soul crushing for the athletes who had to do like onesies and twosies.
Yeah.
Like when you saw poor Ricky have to climb up on the block, it was like, oh, and then would do one and then he'd do his second one and he'd toast.
You know, the really cool thing about that movement was, and people might argue and say nothing was cool about that movement, but when you saw the athlete do one rep, you knew whether or not it was going to be a bad workout or a good workout. And you can't say that about many movements.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
So like from the first rep it showed Ricky do, you knew, oh no, his positioning isn't good enough for this to be a good workout for him, which was kind of cool because you can't say that about one rep on anything.
Right.
Usually.
Unless it's a heavy.
Right. So,
or if there's someone who's just like, when you see Haley Adams run, you're like, oh, good luck everyone else.
Right. Yeah. It's like, you look at this workout and you think, okay, Will Morad's awesome at handstand pushups of any kind. And he won it. But whoever would think Jason Hopper is going to finish second? No one. Absolutely
or that Mal O'Brien and Ricky would have so much.
People.
Yeah. Or that Mal O'Brien or Ricky would have so much problem. You're right.
Yeah.
We saw Mal do one and you were like, oh my God,
she broke her back
fuck?
on the first rep and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's going to be a long day.
Yeah, so when you start to look at this workout and the effect of it on the weekend, because I think that it is hard not to look at the workouts and not say whether or not they were good tests based on what the athletes could or couldn't do in them. And you look at this workout and you say, hey, this showed a chink in Ricky's armor. If this workout would have been programmed at the CrossFit Games, would he have won the games? You have to say things like that.
Mm-hmm. And just look at what they're being asked to this point: tricep.
Elizabeth elevated workout
shuttle,
3 and workout 7.
Shuttle to overhead. Yep, and the 36 muscle ups. Don't forget that, especially after those other two. And then finally the wall facing handstand push up. So you can just assume at that point their pressing is fatigued, to say the least.
Event number 8, rinse and repeat. Every 2 minutes for 6 rounds. You do a 50-yard swim, 8 ski calories, and then add 2 calories each round. So basically what you had to do is you had to swim 50 meters and then get a certain number of calories on the ski erg that's outside of the water. And then if you finish that, you got to proceed to the next round. After 6 rounds of that, then the next 2 rounds were free. Didn't matter how much you got, but that's where you had to score your points. Awesome to watch if you knew what was going on. I absolutely fucking loved it. But I love this workout. But fuck, man, if you didn't know CrossFit and you weren't a student of the game, you probably fucking hated it. You were like, what is this shit?
It was hard to watch and hard to follow. I think but again, to me, for the most part, I put that on the broadcast. And if they could have brought up a graphic that showed calorie and calories per hours in real time, instead of just you know what I also hate is you have the leader's calorie count, and then you have everyone behind them -1, -2, -3. Like, I care less about minus off the leader, but more just show us their actual calories and their calories per hour. And then beyond that, I think the biggest miss was having the females do the same amount of calories. I would have had the females start at 7 and go up again by 2 each round. And by the time the athletes got to 18 calories or that final round, the female will have done 6 or however many less up to that point. And I don't think we would have seen those female athletes get cut.
How many did we see get cut?
A few. Was it 3 or 4?
Why did they use the same? Why do you think they used the same?
No idea. It is definitely a lot harder for women to ski at the same pace that men ski at.
That being said, Lucy Campbell, the woman who won that event, beat 13 of the fittest men in the world.
Because she's a
awesome
fantastic swimmer. She swam her final 50 in 30 seconds after basically a minute and a half of max effort ski erg, or close to max effort ski erg.
Anything you want to say about this, JR, before we move on to the hat trick?
Only that, kind of echoing Taylor's sentiments. I think a cool graphic idea in a workout like this would just to put at the top round of 14 to have all the athletes listed on the side of the screen, all their names, and then as they got eliminated, just erase their names. And then on round 7 and 8, you just put the calorie count and you just leave it up on the screen for all the athletes.
Right. That's cool.
And the reason machines are so different than something like a double under. Earlier on in the show, I said that the females don't need an extra minute for a double under. Just running is running. But when you're on a machine, body weight plays so much of a role. Your ability to produce power on a machine is directly correlated to how big you are and how much do you weigh. The difference between Jason Hopper and Colton Mertens on a rower is fucking astronomical because of the size. And that's it.
One of the neuroadaptive women would have taken 28th in the Indy.
That's
Nasty.
crazy.
That's why there's so much that's why there's so much controversy around the neuroadaptive.
I got an athlete at my gym that missed the games by 1 spot. Neuroadaptive.
Man or woman?
Woman.
And what does that mean? What's her neurological issue?
She's got cerebral palsy.
Oh, all right. Is that what all of them have? Is that what it means? Should they just call it the cerebral palsy class?
I don't think they all do, but I think I don't want to speak out of line, but I think that it's usually some form of like neuromuscular, like a dystrophy of some kind.
Okay.
But I'm not sure if like
some sort of like muscle.
I'm not sure if like
shrinkage.
someone who's had a stroke can compete in neuromuscular. Like I don't know if that is grounds for, you know what I mean? I don't know the criteria.
Right. By the way, I had Casey Akery on the show this morning. Super cool cat, 2 times CrossFit Games champion. I had a blast. It sucked that I had to go to the skate park. I probably could have talked to him another 2 hours. I think that would have ended up being a 3-hour podcast. Event number 9, hat trick. I shouldn't say it sucked on the skate park. I had a blast there. 3 rounds for total time. Field sprint, 20 wall ball shots, and 6 dumbbell squat snatches. Why am I having trouble remembering this one? Oh, because the sprint. Okay.
It was the event where they did 1 round, rested 4 minutes, another round, rested 4 minutes, another round, and their total time across all 3 rounds was their score. So it was basically who can be as accurate as possible on the wall ball and smooth and fast on the dumbbell squat snatch, have 0 no reps, and make perfect runs for all 3 rounds.
I actually enjoyed this one too.
Really,
Something was wrong with the filming on this. This one definitely needed more wide shots, way more wide shots.
This is my least favorite workout of the weekend.
Less than what was the one I said? Less than the handstand one. You like that? You like the handstand one more than
I
this
thought
one?
seeing Nick Matthew finish it and the excitement that created was pretty awesome. And I think for that reason, I like the handstand one more.
Guy also.
Yeah, but watching Nick Matthew, I mean, again, the broadcast didn't do a great job of following Guy. It was on Nick Matthew the whole time, or at least it was on him to the point to where he finished the crossover double unders. Then it was his show. They didn't really show Guy.
All right, so Taylor, how do you think you make this workout better? I've got an opinion on that.
They should have made the dumbbell heavier.
Okay, so that's the heavier.
110 pound, 10 pound.
I just think you make it 3 rounds for time and take out the rest. And I think there's room for that just because, like you said, there are 3 other workouts that have rest programmed in. And are you including the speed skill medley in that?
Yeah, I was,
Okay,
yeah.
And I would too, but you just.
So
I
I
don't
think you either cut the rest in half. So you go essentially 2 minutes on, 2 minutes off.
Yeah.
Or you go 30 and 10, 30 wall ball, 10 dumbbell squats.
I like the increase in reps, but again, I think his intent with that huge rest was to put the primacy or the focus on perfect runs. Who can nail the 12-foot target, have some accuracy, and who can really move a dumbbell beautifully and go fast doing it. So I see what he was trying to do there. And this is just one of those times where my opinion and what I bias towards and what I like is just different. And I would have liked to have seen 3 rounds for time. And I would have liked to see him suffer and a little more capacity shine through rather than just the main focus being on accuracy. But
yeah,
how about this?
And you saw what Tia get 2 no reps and 1
it cost her.
run. And I mean, you saw people be really unstable overhead on the dumbbell squat snatch, and then you see Guy doing what no one else in the sport can do as far as speed goes. It's crazy.
Yeah.
How about this for next year? And I like this workout. I like the rest because I liked watching Ellie Turner go 3 times and just mash. But how about this for next year? This is the one where you have the cuts. You go 40, 20, 10, and you make the dumbbell heavier each round. Till in the final round, the women are using a 100-pound dumbbell, and the men are using a 120 or something.
Look at you, dude! Programming mastermind.
I like that too.
Thank you.
I wonder if they did some testing with a heavier dumbbell.
They probably did. I don't think a heavier dumbbell is appropriate, but to Sevan's point, maybe round 1 is 30 wall balls or 40 wall balls, 10 dumbbell snatches. Round 2, 30 wall balls, 8. Round 3, 20 wall balls, 6. Something like that.
And visually too, it was interesting to me, like to use the entire field or to make the sprint shorter. What if you just do 6 in place and you let people go touch and go for 6 instead of doing 2 move, 2 move, 2?
Because you'll see athletes like Guy rip 6 all in one set.
Okay,
I like it. I like it.
But that creates even more separation.
Exactly. I agree. I like the ability to do 6 in a row. I wasn't sure. That was another thing I didn't think of until you just mentioned it. But I definitely did not like the 2 at a time. Because the athletes that are capable of doing all 6, it's like you don't give them that opportunity.
Hey, if the crossovers made the athletes look dumb, this made the athletes look great, by the way. This really showcased why you can't fuck with CrossFitters. Like they can do some shit.
Yeah, I mean, as simple as this was, I mean, this is a CBS event. It's fast, it's easy to watch. You see people racing, you see people sprinting, you see their bodies. I mean, this is a very easy viewer friendly type workout. Just as easy as it is to watch people row and do thrusters.
I agree. Event number 10, sandbag ladder.
But my favorite event, and probably, in my opinion, maybe one of the most iconic events in the CrossFit Games history.
1 rep max sandbag to shoulder. The women started at 160 and went up to 250. The men started at 260 and went to 340. So we thought, And when a handful of men crushed the 340, they wheeled out a new bag at 350. By the way, if you didn't see the interviews, the short interviews I did with Adrian Bosman every night, you should go back and watch them if you're really into this programming, because there's things that we're talking about here that Adrian will talk about. For example, where the 350-pound bag came from. Taylor, love this. JR, you love this?
Yeah, this is one of my favorites, and I think that you can look at the events as a whole and see that gymnastics and maybe other strength realms outside of the barbell is where Boz kind of is pushing the sport and challenging athletes to maybe get outside their comfort zone. We can look at a max clean with a barbell or a clean and jerk and come pretty close to who we think is going to win. And still, we saw some of those familiar faces. You know, Guy is probably the strongest athlete. Jason is a really strong athlete, maybe not the strongest. But then you got guys like Nick Matthew and Brent, and you got Jackie Dahlstrom doing the same load as Danny Spiegel. And yeah, she's got like a 245-pound clean and jerk. So she's technically really strong too with a barbell comparatively to her body weight. But to see a little bit of parity and to see Tia watching people and not being one of the last ones out there, like that was just, it was an awesome experience for all the athletes.
And to see her smiling. She had fun watching this event, and that speaks to how amazing it was.
And it was a risk. Like, and Boz said it on some of these interviews, and even Kotler came on and said, man, in the beginning, it was like, dude, this is so dumb. Like I can't even watch this. And then as it got heavier and heavier, and as the athletes fought the weight more and more, it was like, it just amped you up. It was like they were literally fighting another being and not just a bag. Like it was a hit, man. It was awesome.
Fucking cool. I think the one thing I would have liked to have seen a little differently was the tiebreaker, especially for women. That 50-pound bag was just so irrelevant, and nowhere near the equivalent to the men's 100. But aside from that, iconic, to say the least.
When we think of grit from CrossFit Games athletes, I can think of no more grit than 2009 chipper Michael Fitzgerald screaming as he's doing the chipper at the top of his lungs, fucking screaming in agony. I can't think of too much. I hate to be so old school, but Jason Kalipa collapsing in the opening event of the 2009 games, collapsing
into the wall,
and then getting up, finishing the race, and then an hour later deadlifting 500 pounds. We see grit, but it's always in these long events. Not always, but all the ones in my memory in these long events that we saw some grit, like what Cole Sager did, and what Ricky Garrard did. We saw some grit that you normally get to see in these 1-rep lifts, because when we see it with the bar, it's like either you did it or you didn't. We don't see them
it's over in an instant.
Yeah. We saw dudes war.
Yeah, it was
with a fucking 300 bag fat lady. Got to get her on her shoulder and get her out of the fucking burning building. Functional fitness. We saw these dudes war. We saw why Justin Medeiros is the champ. We saw that technique, even with something as savage as this bag, separates the champ from the rest. Notable mentions, of course, like these guys says, Nick Matthew fucking blew everyone's brain, Jacqueline Dahlstrom and Emma McQuaid, and of course Danny Spiegel. I mean, to be honest, they should have just back in the day, maybe if Greg owned the company, Greg would have come out there and been like, okay, keep bringing bags out for her. Every bag she gets, I'll give her $5,000. I mean, she deserved it, and we would have fucking loved it. That was like the community would have eaten that shit up.
Yeah. That was, gosh, and watching the other athletes, watch that one person on the platform fighting, like in some people's case, like fucking 40 seconds with that bag is just unreal.
I so wish Cole Sager would have gotten that bag.
Dude, I was on the edge of my seat and I was like, oh, he's getting it. And then he just stopped. I was like, fuck. He was either blacking out. I don't know. It looked like he would have blacked out. He was close to it.
Event number 11, the alpaca. And just so you guys know how much fucking Taylor Self likes me, he broke this workout down. In his write-up, He broke this down for me, and he's such a nice man. 42-foot sled push, unload 2 kettlebells, 42-foot sled push, unload another 2 kettlebells, 42-foot sled push, unload the last 2 kettlebells. And this workout had a seated legless rope climb in it next ascent, and what I think we know for sure was a legless descent, which would have been a first in CrossFit Games history. True?
From the seated position and a legless descent.
And it didn't happen. And it drastically changed the workout. I think what I saw is that some people were finishing in 6 minutes and some change, but the time cap, it would have been more like 18 minutes, people finishing in 18 minutes if we would have had these rope climbs in there maybe. Is that true?
Yep.
Yeah, the workout was.
And this was because of the weather.
The rain. Yep.
The rain. That it made the ropes unclimbable, I guess.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here, and there's a lot that we can discuss about how this workout changes the whole shape of the weekend, about what athletes excelled at the modified version versus which athletes we knew probably would not have had the legless rope climbs being in there. How strict upper body pulling is almost always tested extensively. Yes, these athletes all did the legless rope climb workout to get here, but that doesn't mean that all of them are up to par at that movement. Up to this point, tons of pressing was tested, right? They dipped out of a muscle up 36 times. They did 63 bar dips with 150 feet of traverse. They were inverted on a handstand workout. They did shoulder to overhead at 300 and 200 pounds. Upper body pulling, though, was only tested with 75 reps on chest to bar, and only half of the field did more than 3 or 2 pegboards. So you take the legless rope climbs out of this workout, and you drastically change the athletes that were tested. I mean, fact of the matter is,
you could almost say, JR, you could almost say that there was so little in the beginning to be fair to them and save this workout for them.
Oh, this workout
That's how important this is.
This workout is brilliantly placed, and the movement is brilliantly placed here because they later have to do 30 bar muscle ups.
It's the crux. It's really almost.
And it's a deal breaker workout, much like the wall facing strict handstand push-ups were. It's like the same kind of workout in that if you can't do something, we're going to know, and it may cost you points on the leaderboard. But more importantly, guys, there are people that made thousands of more dollars on the weekend because they didn't have to do those rope climbs.
I think Christy Ermo lost up to $20,000 because of it.
Brian wants to add also there were 36 ring muscle ups, some pulling there.
We said the ring muscle ups.
Ring muscle up is not a pull. It's way more of a dip fatigue issue.
It is more of a press, and I would agree with the bar muscle up as well. The bar muscle up is a pull, and I'm glad
swimming and skiing,
not
in my opinion, should not be thought of as upper body pulling movements as far as muscular contractions go and external load, be it body weight or otherwise.
Well, you go back to on previous shows, I've talked about the degree of importance that I place personally on climbing and the upper body pull. I know you love upper body pulling, JR. And this was just with it in the weekend, incredible. Without it, so different. And it really is a linchpin movement. You take out the kettlebell clean and jerks and you could switch them with anything. No big deal. You take out the sled, switch it with anything. No big deal. You take out the legless rope climb, seated and strict on the descent, and it is like we said, so different, beyond different.
But I think it's also important, though, to think about one thing. The time slot for the television broadcast, right? So everyone's saying, okay, cool. They took out the legless rope climbs. Let's just make them do that inside. Well, there's so many things that have already been set up for those workouts inside, right? With the last 2 workouts, that just deciding to change them last minute might not have been possible. So
is this one on TV?
We don't know. I don't know which one was
this
CBS.
one.
No,
on
I think
CBS?
it was the last. I think it was the slot of the last 2. Brian will definitely know that. I think it's the Back Nine, and then Jackie Pro that were on TV.
What I would have preferred to see at the very least was just add the rope to the sled and make it a hand over hand pull to some degree at some point in the workout. And again, it's still nowhere near the same as a seated legless.
And you know what? You know
The
why?
sleds are already out there, though. All you got to
Sleds-
do is
But you know
attach
why
one.
that's
that's no
already out
good?
there.
You know why that's no good? That still rewards the big athlete. And this rope climb,
Josh Bridges won that sled event, hand over hand pull back in the day. He's a little guy.
he is. I do. But Fikowski's amazing at it.
Well, Fikowski's also very good at legless rope climb.
Yeah, he's good at both.
Oh,
Very good at legless.
all right, you win.
Or yeah, I mean that I thought about the regular rope climb. They can climb it in the rain. I just
Yeah, why not? Why didn't they switch it to regular rope climb?
But
and just
that
go-
wouldn't have been
I was
that would have
told
been
that they did that the plan was to switch to regular, and then at the last minute that was decided that it wasn't the best option. So
it looked dangerous apparently.
I think
Fuck them.
I think the best. I think my big takeaway is just that it was really disappointing that we
Yeah,
didn't
it
get to
was.
see the workout be performed as written and how it would affect the workouts later,
What do you think?
especially the bar
athletes-
muscle up workout.
What do you think the athletes think about the programming in general? The CrossFit
If-
Games athletes.
If they can do a rope climb with 3 feet hanging on the ground at semifinals and a wet rope, fuck. They make you run that all the time on military O course.
Good point. Well, what do you think the athletes thought about it? I saw Arama wasn't stoked on it. She said it's the first time she's complained in 9 years. Obviously, I've had a few people chirp in my ear saying that they're really pissed.
I don't think they were upset that they took it out. It's for the athlete's safety, and I think that was the right call.
Not just that. I mean, the totality of the
Yeah, yeah,
programming. Hey, and does it even matter what they think?
Athletes that are complaining about the totality of the programming, I think, need to get over it.
But does it
Athlete-
ever? Okay.
I
Okay.
think complaining about not replacing this movement, I think this is the one area you can look at with maybe the addition of saying the crossover double unders should have been tested from the start so that the right people got to that final round. Aside from that, pulling the legless rope climbs out of this workout, those are the two areas that an athlete can look at and say, "Damn, I caught the short end of the stick." Everywhere else, be prepared. Watch.com, do your research, and train the unknown and unknowable.
But part of me thinks it doesn't like I don't mind the athletes complaining, but part of me thinks like I don't care because it's not that's not the way it works. That's not the way it works. Josh killed it on the strict handstand push-ups. Rich was catching him on the sled. Thank you,
And
Cody. I knew I was right and Taylor was wrong.
Another guy asking how hard it was to cover the ropes from the rain. It was apparently a constant drizzle. And there's somebody in the comments complaining about Boz, and Boz saying they were going to climb the ropes wet or dry, and that Bill, I think referencing Bill Henniger, said that it wouldn't be an issue if the ropes were wet.
He said it would not be an
Would
issue.
not be, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, they got up and tested it in the rain and made the decision that it was safe for athletes to not do it. And
Yeah, I
think
trust
if-
their decision.
I trust their decision 100% too. And if you're Boz, I'm not thinking about Christy Aramo's $20,000. Yeah, that's a lot of money. But what happens if we get 7 more ACLs blown out because that rope is wet and people are sliding down and landing on the excess or whatever the case may be?
Hey, yeah. This is going to be a little bit of a stretch. It's going to be hard for, I think, some people to
And it's
process.
not playing
but-
it safe. They did the right thing. I don't make that call. I don't look at it and I don't think, oh, they played it safe. I think they did the right thing.
At the end of the day, there's a new CEO on board, Dan Fall, Faul. I don't know how to pronounce the last name, but he put out this video with Stefan Roche. I think Stefan did an amazing job interviewing him. And he basically says, I'm going to listen to the affiliates. And I know a bunch of you guys aren't going to like this. Fuck what the affiliates say. Fuck you guys. It doesn't matter what you say. That's not what the fucking CEO should be doing. The CEO should be protecting the brand and the methodology no matter what the affiliates say. If the affiliates are like, if they start wanting dumb shit, you don't put it in there. Your job is to protect the brand and to protect the affiliates, including from them wanting to do dumb shit. It's the same way the Constitution protects this country from doing dumb shit too. The democracy cannot be like, okay, all white people are now enslaved. The Constitution prevents the democracy from fucking up the freedom. And it's the same thing I feel about the games. That's why Adrian Bosman is there. That's why Dave Castro is there. Like I like listening to you complain. I'm open for the discussion. But at the end of the day, it's like, doesn't matter. You hope that your leader has a strong vision for what's going to take you across the finish line, so we all feel good about it.
Do you think that's his vision?
So it stays true. So it stays true to the methodology. So it stays true to the practice. That's what we need from the CEO too. This guy concerns me just a little bit in that regards. It's the same fucking Rosa rhetoric. It's like you would never hear Greg be saying that shit.
Do you think he's just out to grow the business for his shareholders?
Oh yeah, sure, yes. And I'm okay with that too. Make shitloads of money. I want you to get rich as fucking shit. But I don't have a problem with that. How hard is it to cover the ropes in the rain? $1.99. Thank you, Jose De La Torre.
Someone in the comments saying injury is not possible if you're doing a seated legless rope climb with a huge pad under you. I would imagine, think about falling from 20 feet up. Whether there's a pad or not, there's the potential to get hurt.
Sir Trolls a lot. Wow, that's a great name. Is that a man or a woman?
My other thought was maybe they could have done strict pull-ups. There was a rig out there to begin with. You can do, a wet pull-up bar that you don't have to jump up to. Who cares if you slip off at that point? They had to do kettlebell snatches with wet kettlebells. So I don't know. I thought maybe that would have been an opportunity to introduce a strict pull-up to the games. You can definitely standardize it and just make the reps, 16. JR?
Yeah. That's true.
Smoke weed every day. JR, I can't believe you just said that.
You're an idiot.
Event number 12, the back 9. Hey, so rank this in the word. So what should they have done? Are we okay with it at the end of the day? Are we okay with it? Jared, say something positive. You're the man of positivity. Say something like love on Boz a little bit.
I actually like the workout as it was performed as a workout on its own, but knowing what it was originally written as and what it would have done to the leaderboard and to the subsequent workouts, I'm pretty bummed about it.
Yeah, I too.
It's like finding out your prom date is on her menses.
It's a big miss.
Oh, I tried to hold it back. I tried not to say it, Mom. I tried not to. Event 12. By the way, I did not have sex on my prom night. I didn't lose my virginity until I was 18, Mom. I waited. Even though it was the same girl I'd been dating since I was 15, I just didn't. I just didn't. I was good. I was a good boy. Okay. Event 12, back 9. 54-foot yoke. So, and by that I mean it was a disappointment. Jerry, are you saying that if we wouldn't have known that it was in there, we wouldn't be whining bitches right now? If we didn't know it was in there,
I still think some people that follow programming really closely would have said there should have been more upper body pulling, for sure.
But
okay.
it wouldn't be
but the average person would not have.
And there wouldn't be even to the programming heads. I think there wouldn't be this, man, damn, I can't believe we didn't get to see that. Because when I saw that workout was man, this is going to be my favorite workout. And I thought it was going to be the hardest workout of the weekend, without a doubt.
Right.
And then you take it out and it's just so different.
I was excited to see who was going to be able to do that.
Yeah, it was going to fuck a lot of people up. And now we don't get to see, because people are going to go practice for a year now.
Guy had to propose to get camera time. I didn't even see that, but that's a pretty cheeky comment. I like it. Event number 12. Damn, we're almost there. 2 hours and 7 minutes into the show. Back 9, 54-foot yoke carry, 665 pounds. 2 front squats from the floor, 315 pounds, 215 for the women. 3 deadlifts at 475, 315 for the women. 2 front squats from the floor. We talked about that, 315 and 215. And then final 54-foot yoke carry, 665 for the men, 485 for the women. I loved this workout. Guys?
Yeah, I think this is an awesome application of testing strength without it being, 20 seconds to lift, wait for 3 minutes, lift again, wait for 3 minutes, lift again. This is the kind of this is the kind of workout that you can look to sometimes to see where athletes have come, like someone like Mal, and how much stronger she's gotten moving heavy loads fast versus doing it not underneath fatigue when you kind of know who's going to win those events.
Why
Wow.
is yoke spelt that way?
That's how you spell yoke. That
Oh.
kind of yoke. I love that
Oh,
guess.
I see. That's the one that goes over animals.
JR,
Okay.
did you have a guess? Simon?
Alpaca.
Before or after?
After
like-
the week. Oh,
like
he
when
meant,
it- like when
he
it
meant
was first
before.
released?
Yeah, he meant legless. With the legless was his best, was their guess.
Oh, yeah. I like that one as the test.
Mehmet Adinli. 2008, I did all the workouts. 2009, I did all the workouts. 2007, I did all the workouts. 2008, I did all the workouts. 2009, I did all the workouts. 2010, I think that was the first year there was something I couldn't do. There was actually some weight I couldn't lift or something. I think they had a deadlift at 315 or something. I was like, no, you can't do that. So then I just stopped. I was actually supposed to compete again in the 2008 games against the women, but instead I made the movie. That's for a different podcast. I like the workout. I like the fact that it separated the athletes, that some people we saw it was actually a sprint. They just did all the shit.
And that's a workout that a lot of athletes look at and get scared of, without a doubt. Which I think the games needs a few of those. And I think alpaca was another.
Is that the heaviest yoke we've seen for men and women in the CrossFit Games?
It's equal to, I believe, Aeneas individual final from 2018, I believe, was a 665 yoke. It was a 600 plus pound yoke for men.
I hardly doubt it. Sevan, can you hold?
way.
I hardly, yeah.
It's a 137.
I can't even imagine that. I did a 749 2,000 meters. So that do whatever you need to do to figure out what a pussy I am. 315. Can you do? How would you have done on that, Taylor? A healthy Taylor self. That amassed you.
Healthy
Yeah.
wouldn't have been my best event, but I wouldn't have taken last by any means.
Would you finish in the time cap?
A 4-minute time cap. I think so. It would have been close. A 315 squat clean's not huge. It would have been the deadlifts for me. I'm great on the yoke. The squat cleans wouldn't have been an issue. It just would have been the deadlifts.
And finally, event number 13. We don't even have to talk about this. Should we just wrap the show up?
I thought they missed again with this workout. I like the idea of Jackie Pro. I don't like the layout of it. I think there should have been, the bar should have had more spacing out on the floor, less advancing of the thruster, more advancing of the bar muscle up.
What's the only difference between this and Jackie is the speed of the row?
No, the bar muscle up.
Oh,
and the
right,
thruster
right.
weight and the thruster weight. Jackie's an empty bar.
Thank you. So this is a 1,000-meter row, 50 thrusters, 95 for men, 65 for women. Normally just the bar for both.
This is the
Do the women use a 35-pound bar in Jackie?
Yes,
Okay.
35, 45,
And then normally it's 30 pull-ups. And what is a world-class time
sub
for
5,
Jackie? So,
right?
Yeah.
I
and
think Jason Kalipa is like a 440 something, 449 maybe, 456. I can't remember.
I think really low fives were what people were hitting that year at regionals, but that's a little different.
what
Yeah,
did you
on the
think was a
floor.
miss, Taylor, again?
Just that, to me, this event just wasn't. You had so many spectacular moments. You had, maybe I would have felt differently had the seated legless not been pulled out. But after such a letdown from Alpaca, I was hoping, holding on to my seat, hoping to see something after this. Like maybe they did a surprise announcement right after. Maybe they implemented the legless in some way. Maybe there was going to be a twist to make up for removing the legless from Alpaca. But this just seemed to be a bit of a letdown after the change in that event earlier in the day. And personally, not the most exciting workout to watch. When I think about an exciting final, I think about a year like Double Grace and watching Rich and Matt race, or I think about a year like Pedal to the Metal 1 and 2 and watching Matt lose it to Ben Smith on the parallel handstand push-ups. I think about something exciting, and to me, this just wasn't it. I do love the workout. at a different spot in the weekend. It's also the only MWG workout, period, in the weekend. The only monostructural weightlifting and gymnastic combination workout of the weekend, which I thought, to my programming biases, was just not enough. I would have liked to have seen 3 MWG workouts.
JR.
I think if you make this workout 12 and the yoke workout 13, it's an unbelievable final to a games.
So switch the two around.
Right.
They're both good races.
Do you think that
Yeah,
layout?
the race just doesn't start to really matter, take
Until the
shape
bar
until the
muscle
bar
ups.
muscle
Yeah.
ups, because
And do
we
you-
saw a lot of jockeying in those 30 reps.
Do you think for the back 9 that layout of the barbells gives you the excitement for a final event?
I think just carrying anything or any kind of horizontal displacement down the floor in a race is the best way you can finish a workout.
I did hear that they added a section to the Coliseum floor for Noble or for some company to add ticket sales or whatever, and that shortened or made the Coliseum a bit smaller. And I feel like I would have liked to have seen yoke carry, front squat bar, deadlift bar, second front squat bar, and then yoke carry to finish, all in one linear kind of progression rather than down and back. But sometimes logistically that's not possible.
Yeah, that's interesting. That would be a question for Brian when he comes on, if the floor was actually, like, footage wise, a little bit shorter this year.
And again, to me, gosh, I want to see more workouts like 2-2-3 intervals. MWG, just a classic triplet with monostructure. They just hurt bad and they're classic to the methodology. And I think there's room for that across the 13 event weekend, without a doubt.
Ipodicus, Roman didn't complete the last 10 bar muscle ups on the red bar, did all 30 on the first 2 bars. Should he have had to complete the 10 on the red bar?
He doesn't speak English, and I don't think his judge advanced him, so he cut him a break.
Yeah, I was watching that and wondering too, are they going to count all these? But then I thought to myself, there may just be language barrier there, and he's not getting really any of advantage staying farther back and doing them.
If you're going to allow those athletes who missed a lap to get credit for a lap based off of time, you can't say shit about him just not advancing to the red bar, in my opinion. Good call.
Well, I know they had an option. Well, at least the broadcast said they had an option of the first 2 bars, but then they were supposed to advance to the red. So if he was the only one that chose to stay back, I didn't see anyone else do it.
Neither did Fikowski.
He was tall, and so he needed that other pull-up bar. He was tall.
That's good. That's a step up from Granite Games, right?
For who?
For
For
not
us?
making them not making tall athletes use the short bar.
Right. Well, this is the big leagues. This is the CrossFit Games. Wow. We could go on for another fucking hour.
Well, we can summarize this up real quick.
Do it.
At the end of the weekend, we've got 8 monostructural movements, 8 different monostructural movements, 15 different weightlifting movements, and 14 different gymnastic movements. And if we had had the seated legless with the legless descent, we would have had 15 different gymnastic movements. And you go back and you look at the monostructural and you're thinking, wow, that's half as much of the weightlifting and the gymnastic. You just have to look at the volume in context. So much more volume in each individual monostructural movement and time under tension, to where, in my opinion, it all equals out very, very well. I thought the dose of monostructural, the dose of weightlifting, the dose of gymnastics was great. I thought the spectrum from light to heavy, low skill to high skill was great. Short event to long event was great. My only big gripe about kind of this nitty gritty in the programming was just what I said a few minutes ago. And that is, I am very partial to triplets that have monostructural weightlifting and gymnastics. I love them. They look cool. They're elegant. They're so deeply rooted in the methodology, and we only had one of them. Other than that, the MWG checks out.
Of the closing thoughts, there are 4 things. I'll pick this one. Here's the thing. I think 3 of these things are kind of have a what have you done for me lately component, meaning we're all there's always a fight we're going to see. There's always something we're going to see because we're seeing it now that we're going to say, like we're saying the sandbag event was the most iconic in history. I need to give it some time before I say that. It's so hard to say that because it's just I just saw it. It's like the girl I went out with last night is the coolest girl I've ever went out with because I went out with her last night. So, but there is one thing in here that I really thought I always wonder about, and it's the most athlete friendly volume and toll on body in recent memory. And I mean, it does seem like some games have just fucking dismantled these guys. I haven't had a chance to talk to anyone who's done the full games yet, but what did you guys think about that in terms of how the athletes come in and leave?
So that's through my perspective before I give JR a chance to speak. And me personally, I can handle a lot of midline and hinging. So something like the Capitol and something like the sandbag event after the GHDs from up and over are not.
And the back 9.
And the back 9. I mean, though, to me, that's not something that's going to wreck my body. What I think about when I think events that wreck your body are 2017 CrossFit Games where you run and squat for 5 days and by the end of it, you can't walk for 2 weeks. Or 2015 Murph, things of that nature. Or 1 year, gosh, they ruined Murph again, just ruined the biceps. Or you think about 2020 and Atlanta and the double 5K trail run. There were events that were hard and pushed athletes to the brink, and we saw that with Haley. But then you look across the test and kind of the variance of movements and modalities and how many of the events were kind of built around showcasing the athletes and testing skills that maybe aren't so tied into crushing them physically. And to me, it just looked like an event that wasn't an enormous physical toll.
Yeah, and I actually don't really agree with all of that. Like I do think that repetition wise, yes, there are a lot of workouts that maybe in years past would have been programmed with a lot more reps. But I think the toll that the CNS took on the event, like the Capitol, to strain and to carry like that and to get to close to muscle fatigue, to muscle failure, to do the max sandbag where you saw some of those dudes holding that load on them and some of the ladies holding that load for like 30 seconds at a time before dropping. And then they go to bed at night, they wake up in the morning and they have to do the kettlebell sled, which was just the absolute like beat down of a workout intensity wise. Then they go and they do that fast back 9 workout. Then they go and they do a row where they have to row hard into 50 thrusters. I actually think that they probably felt the beat down almost as much as in years past, just because they were presented in a little different manner and the intensity was so much higher, not so much repetition intensity, but relative intensity, time domains, and loading. I think that when the loading was there, it was aggressive and it was usually fast.
And that's not to say I'm not sitting here thinking this was an easy games. I'm just saying the way all of the workouts were presented, I think were weighted more towards showcasing their ability rather than beating them down. Because there have been workouts and kind of the ways they've been programmed in years past where it seemed like that was kind of an intent, was to put them in the dirt a little bit. And I just didn't see a ton of that this year, which I liked.
Sam Kennedy, 49.99. Nice silhouette shot. Great job this weekend, guys. Very, very grateful for the coverage. You're welcome. Crushed it. Thank you. Can we take a second to appreciate the fact that they made them row fast as hell? I agree. Before doing the thrusters and bar muscle ups. That's on the that's the final workout. He's referencing Jackie Pro, where Thursdottir, Helga Thursdottir, and
Thuri Helga daughter.
Yeah, her Thuri Helga daughter, who's a 10 times CrossFit, 9-time CrossFit Games athlete, and Rebecca Fuselier, the rookie, both didn't make it off the rower in time, which is crazy, right?
Yeah.
I think that Yeah, what's crazy is that the capacity we think of her as having, but for some reason it just doesn't translate to that machine.
Size.
And, there's only 3 machines in the competition too, which is something I maybe thought Taylor would say. I think the monostructural spread was awesome. Usually when I try to program, for weeks or months at a time, or even when I try to program a competition, usually if I end up with a monostructural number that's about half of the weightlifting and gymnastics, I usually think I'm on the right track.
Yeah.
So that spread was, I think, a really good spread. And you got real biking outside, not on a stationary bike, and you got swimming, and then you got ski, rowing, and
Echo bike. And jump rope.
I think that was it wasn't those workouts were not all, oh, well, whoever's the best on the bike is going to win this. No, it was a strict handstand push-up workout. And it wasn't whoever's going to row the hardest is going to win Jackie. No, because you all kind of had to row the same speed. And it wasn't, whoever's the best skier is going to win. It was no, whoever's the best skier and the best swimmer is going to win, because you had a top 10 littered with high level swimmers. And then you had some people in the top 10 on that workout that we didn't think of as great swimmers.
And there were some questions
the way
about
the
that.
machines were placed was really good.
Yeah. And there were questions about that going into that event specifically, and a lot of people looking at it and thinking, the swim isn't going to matter. The swim isn't going to matter. And ultimately it did, but it mattered in the right way. It wasn't, I like workouts where oftentimes there's not a true crux. It's everything in the workout. And that's why I tend to be partial towards MWG because they all matter.
MWG. Trevor Gentry, $4.99, just got home from a late night dinner and thought you guys would be surely done by now. You guys are beasts, catching up now. Thanks, gents. Hey, thank you, Trevor. This is on what JR was saying. It kind of, I would like next year's game, the theme to be fuck the machines, and just put all the machines in one workout on day one, just all of them in one workout, just all of them.
That's one of my favorite workouts is acid
Assault
bath.
bike, echo bike, the ergs, the fucking, just toss them all in there. And then I never want to see them again the rest of the week. But I do like what JR said. I did not notice the machines dominating the events this year, which was really nice. Okay. Here we go. Here is Taylor Self doing something. We're about to
just for the backwards walk portion of it is why it's important. Because the backwards walk is just so much harder. I think it was the right call for them to not do that in the event.
God, are those the most janky pair of fucking parallettes in the world? What is that, JR's gym?
No, that's my gym. Andy's.
That's pretty
CrossFit
impressive.
Charlotte.
Wow. What are those hooks for there?
What hooks?
See see these hooks?
Oh,
Those eyelets?
That's a good question. Oh, no. Okay, so those eyelets are screws, and you can unscrew them and adjust the height of the bars.
Oh, okay. Okay. God, those look dangerous.
Yeah, if you don't put fucking sandbags on it and you try to do dips on one end, it's just going to flip over and smack you.
That thing looks like it's just going to go like this. Anything else you guys would like to finish with?
I thought Boz did a great job. And I thought that, to me, going into the year with the Open and quarterfinals, I didn't have much excitement, and this kind of revitalized things for me personally.
I think it was tough too. I think it was tough not being there. I think you do have a different perspective and you have a different feel of the workouts and of the athlete performances and how things look when you don't have to look at it through a screen. So when Brian comes on, it'll be interesting to see the juxtaposition in the way he saw the workout go down and the way we saw the workout go down. Very different. So I just hate that it's over. We look forward to it every year. And other than some off-season comps, we get a long, long time until we start to ramp up for it again.
Since in all the years I've been messing with CrossFit, I have never geeked out so much on workouts, programming, the games. Thank you for the just intense education and appreciation. It's made me appreciate all this stuff. I'm glad I put in the work so that I could appreciate this podcast on Wednesday, August 10th. J.R. Howell, Taylor Self, thank you. Matt Souza, thank you. Tomorrow morning, we have a second episode of the affiliate show. I'm going to try to do 52 of these in the next year. The first one was spectacular. If you are an affiliate owner, if you love an affiliate owner, if you're thinking about opening an affiliate, if you used to own an affiliate, these are the shows. These are going to be just awesome conversations. We have Jed Rogers coming on. I think it's CrossFit Amity, Amite, Amity. He'll be on at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning Pacific Standard Time. And then in the evening, we have scheduled right now for 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Brian Friend will be coming on. I think in this podcast, we're going to really look at the athletes and how they did on these workouts. Of course, we'll also look at the programming and the workouts, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun seeing because Brian talked about who did what, how well they did, who lived up to their expectations and who didn't. It'll be fun to find out, there's some really great athletes that we expected to be in the top 5 who were not. It'll be fun to hear Brian's understanding of what went wrong. Do we get to blame Boz? Do we get to blame them? Is it age? Is it the new guys? What is it? And then on the 12th, Friday morning, we have Sean Zimmer coming on. If you don't know who that is, go ahead and Google him. Canadian dude, just standing up for Canadian rights. He's an amazing man, father. He has a daughter, and his videos went viral just by making videos of him and his daughter changing the tire on a car. But he's turned into a freedom fighter. And then after that, we have a show. We have the UFC show with Justin Nunley and Darian Weeks. Buy a t-shirt at Vindicate. Bye.